Fuck it. I thought I thought I had put 10 as the start time, but apparently I put 10:30. So, oh well, starting this one early. I didn't mean to be so studious, but here we are. Um, so yeah, doing. I think someone put it like they need to see this video filtered through a podcast, which is now filtered through a live stream. Now, honestly, I don't know. I did the Dylan the Night Owl watch last week of his Spoonie documentary, and I don't know. I was just thinking about like the this video that we're gonna stream tonight is like the video that got me into the Red Cow arcade, and then the further Red Cow cinematic universe, and it's kind of a legendary video, the original James Rolfe video and the Red Cow one. I feel like it born a lot of memes from this video, the Red Cow one anyway. For the Cinemassacre Truth, a subreddit that loves me, by the way. They love the fuck out of me. Along with many other people that hover in this area. So yeah, no, I figured it'd be fun to just go through and watch it, and like, yeah, like, is it a little weird that I'm watching people watch something? Yeah, but I've done that before. And I don't know, it's just a video. It's just something that I enjoy, mate. So if you don't like it and you think it's weird, you can fuck off. You can literally go watch anything else you want to watch. You can watch anything else you want to watch. You don't have to watch this. Gotta get the Holy Spirit flowing through me before I do anything. Woo! Yeah, so anyway, little back info here, because this is how when I actually put any amount of effort outside of the stream into something, that's how you know it's important to me. In August 6th of 2021, James Rolfe did a second installment of his making of slash a tour of the Nerd Room video. It was about like a 22-minute long video. Wow, I can't believe that video is like literally like almost 5 years old at this point. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, so he did that video, and I think the main takeaway was his whole asshole-ish variety thing. That's where that whole thing got spawned. But then these Red Cow guys put out their video, which was 4 days later, August 10th. 2021, and they just proceeded to point out like some of the funniest shit that like I knew it when I saw it, when I was watching the video, the James Rolfe video. Like, I knew it was weird, and I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why, because like I wasn't really in the world that they were in as far as like I mean, yes, I've made like a lot of my own music videos, so I know a lot of the techniques, but I don't really know a lot of the technical, like I don't know the whys to why do I light something this way as opposed to, you know, what's the proper way of doing it, yada yada yada. I never went to college for any of that stuff. I just literally just do it by eyeballing things. So whenever I see someone do something that's like visually wrong, I don't really know what to call it. I just know it's wrong. Well, they knew all the terminologies, and they were able to call out specifically why things. And then there's just other things that were common sense kind of deals like that they pointed out that I just thought was really funny. And when I first saw the video, like the way it was lit, the way, you know, all the props in the background and everything. Well, they're not props; they're actually arcades that they actively use, I would assume. I thought that like their podcast was a part of, and I've said this before, but I thought their podcast was like a part of something bigger, like a bigger, like I don't know, part of some show or internet show or something that like I didn't know about. I don't know. I was like what is the story with this? Like, am I missing something here? And it's like, no, they are just indie podcasters slash, box macaroni enthusiasts. And yeah, so that's what kind of introduced me to Red Cow. And then I watched their other shit, and I just thought, I was like, man, this is like really good. Like, why is nobody like talking about these guys? So then I made a YouTube video about them, which I've never done. I've never made a YouTube video about like another smaller content creator, but I just thought that they were that good. And then I ended up on their podcast, and like, even though I've only been on there like twice, I think, I've probably that being on making those podcast appearances probably easily netted me like a good 500 subscribers. I would think the Red Cow people are very loyal, so they're fans or whatever. So I guess if Red Cow has you on there, then they're co-signing you to a certain degree. And then I've had Frankie on this podcast several times. I had Jason Graves on here, so I don't know. I feel like I'm in that orbit, even though I infamously got butthurt when the Friends of the Red Cow video got put out like a year or two ago, and I was not mentioned. It's fine. Me and Frankie hashed it out in the DMs. He just forgot, so I don't know. Fair enough. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know if there's any more I need to say on that. Yeah, like I started early, didn't mean to. I thought I had set the time for 10 p.m., but apparently it was supposed to be 10:30. So yeah, we're gonna. Oh yeah, fucking sorry. First super chat of the night. Ice Hockey Jedi. Insert generic comment expressing gratitude and camaraderie. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Obviously, money is always appreciated and wanted more than anything else, because it's all that matters. It's the only reason I do it. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say prefacing this. I don't even know, like, I'm hoping I can add a lot of my own commentary to this. I'm definitely not trying to just watch them doing their thing, but I don't know, it's pretty funny, so I may, who knows. And I don't know, it was just it was when the memes were still fresh too. I think that's another aspect that I think was cool about this, like, back then, because like every single fucking joke hadn't been beaten into the ground yet, like, hey, it's Red Cow Arcade, they're in the house. Yeah, sorry, I accidentally started a little bit earlier than I said I would on my community post tab, but yeah, no, it was cool because like everything was like, all the memes were still fresh or non-existent yet at this point, and so I don't know, everything that was discussed was just like hadn't been beaten over the head yet. The dead horse had not been dead. Hadn't been killed, it was still alive. The cow had not been beaten to death, one could say. So there was that aspect, because I mean, this was 2021. All right, Frankie, I'm assuming the man with the hats in the chat. So I noticed that the James Rolfe one came out August 6th of 21, and then you guys put out your reaction a mere 4 days later in August 10th. What was up with that quick turnaround rate? I mean, I guess with podcasts, you don't have to do a whole ass like video with editing and like, inserting graphics and video and all that shit. Like, were you guys just on top of things? Like, you're just watching James's video and then you're like, bam, here's our reaction in mere 4 days. Man, I wish I could put you on here, Frankie. I literally don't know how. StreamYard is a totally different thing that I use if I know I'm going to have someone on. OBS, I have no idea. probably should have looked into that before I started this, but did not. Yeah, that would have been a good forethought for me to have done that, to look into that. But anyway, click the invite link. Okay, now we're gonna go through the whole Josh reading things in the chat. No, there is a way. There is a way to do it because Jim and them had me on their thing and they use OBS. I mean, I could see real quick, do a little Google search here. I don't even know what question to ask. How to add someone else while streaming on OBS. This has got to be entertaining. To add someone to your OBS stream, use a dedicated server like StreamYard or OBS Ninja to get their video feed, which you then capture as a browser source in OBS and arrange in your screen. Build for direct guest management. Yeah, this would be something that I would have had to have done ahead of time, which I probably should have. Well, son of a bitch. All right, well, you can comment in the chat, obviously. No, that's fine. I would have loved to have done that. That honestly was something that should have been thought of ahead of time. I don't know why I didn't think about doing that. All right. Anyway, it's basically 10:30, which is when I said I'd start this. So let me pop a cold one here and get to getting. All right. This was actually a Christmas present from one of either my niece or nephew. I actually I'm not a huge fan of the N64, but it's a shirt that fits me, so there you go. And it's video game related. All right, what do I do with this? There we go. Now we got it.
James.
Okay, so obviously we have a very different Frankie here. We have a hot pants. We got like a full shot that it's not been boiled down to the well-oiled red cow machine that it is now, where it's just all tight shots of the faces panning back and forth. The hat mercifully has not made an appearance yet. Just a totally different vibe going on here. This is what I stumble into as the video opens.
Rolfe's behind the scenes video. I want to talk about it at length. The last time we put up a clip, we did on the Cinemassacre Truth subreddit, and it was like for our podcast clips, it was relatively popular because it spoke their language.
Okay, so Frankie's answering, I guess, my statements in the chat, since I couldn't be bothered to figure out how to have them actually on this stream here. Oh, your question about the turnaround, I have no memory of that, but I know this one was one of the first clips we put out as an experiment of how to advertise the Patreon. Interesting. And I'm sure you had no idea like how much this was gonna like blow the fuck up. Like, not just this one video, but just any time you talk about the BIM Meister or the Bimmy Halo effect. Just as I had no idea, because I think I made my first Rex Viper video around this time as well, and yeah, I did it because I was like interested in James Rolfe, and I was like, man, this band is really bad, and like no one's talking about it, and I have like the musical expertise to break down exactly why this is bad. Well, I feel like this is like the video version of me doing that with Rex Viper, but you guys doing that with just his whole methods of madness when it comes to filming.
Language. Some of the feedback included it made one person bust a gut because to hear slobs in real life, because there's kind of like a Yeah, you end up institutionalized by Reddit, and you can't imagine this stuff being discussed outside of the circle. So I want to recap for everybody what it is we're talking about. I'm afraid that some people listen week after week, or we have new listeners who are like, "What are you talking?" So I feel the need to set the stage.
Yeah, there because there is kind of yeah, some inside baseball here.
Oh, jeez, EJ's fucking hair, bro. All right, here are the memes so far. We got the unpainted shelves. EJ's wild and woolly hair. I mean, these guys were like, I think they were like about to go to bed. Like after they talked about this, it was bedtime, guys. It's like, all right, time to hit the sack. Like you got work tomorrow, type deal. So they were in their PJs.
There's some this is something we're personally obsessed with.
So, okay. The year is 2006. YouTube has just splashed onto the scene. And the retro game community is not really in existence yet. It's not far enough into the future from retro games for there to be like this massive, the value of retro video games is not way up like it is today.
Didn't you have people bitching about you have the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, but you have like Marvel vs. Capcom playing on the screen or whatever? Weren't people like, you don't even have the right game playing in the cabinet?
They're still plentiful. You can still buy them for cheap at yard sales. People have them in boxes all over the place. A lot of people have forgotten about a lot of these games because they're not talked about on the internet a lot. In part because there's not a giant video community to do recaps and reviews and discussion. And this
YouTube's not even around really,
right?
Not in any substantial way. You have a bunch of weird services. You have like E-Bombs World and Screw Attack. There's just things aren't really gelled on the internet yet.
So yeah, you and I were in college in 06. And I'm sure a lot of James Rolfe's fans were little children at this time too, who are now in their 20s, which is crazy to think about. So this guy who is a, DIY, very young, very amateurish filmmaker, for a lark, makes a video about how Simon's Quest, the second Castlevania game, is bad and all the reasons he remembers it being bad. And it's like a fairly funny dissection of the game. Again, the novelty being that he's talking about the game at all, especially critically, especially for a game that, like, I think a lot of us growing up.
If anyone is just listening to the audio, there's a poll in the chat that might interest you.
With retro games, we weren't all that critical of them. We were just glad to have them. We didn't have a lot of alternative choice, like.
We didn't have a ton of reviews outside of Nintendo Power,
right?
And like maybe like Electronic Gaming Monthly or whatever. Like we only had, like, your parents would go to the store sometimes and just come back with a game, and you're like, oh, I guess I have this now.
Yeah, I remember
I mean, that's exactly how it happened for me. My dad would just literally come home from work. I think it was on a Friday after he got paid, and he would like have his big ass work duffel bag. He'd unzip it and he'd pull out like a brand spanking new Super Nintendo game or two new Super Nintendo games for me and my brother, or it'd be like an NES game or something. Like I remember, was the one, Star Tropics, the first Star Tropics. And man, did that game turn out to be a fucking hidden gem. Well, not that much of a hidden gem anymore, but I don't know, Donkey Kong Country 2. I remember him bringing that one home. Fucking Earthworm Jim 2, perhaps. Yeah. So that was definitely a thing. My dad showed his love through buying us things because he had a hard time showing it any other way.
Played the Ghostbusters NES game.
That chat's, I don't know, the Frankie Cowboy Hat chat, we got 66% saying yes. So I don't know, the people are speaking right now via democracy.
Like as if there was something good about it. Just over and over and over again, thinking that like I'm missing something here. Like I don't even remember. I remember being frustrated by it, but I don't remember thinking it was bad. Because you don't think critically as a child. That's like part of being a child. And So there was definitely a novelty to it. He made then a couple more episodes where he kind of upped the production a little bit, but again, he's a guy in his room. So it's like making it fancy is itself kind of a novelty, and it's very, very transparent that it's not a high level production. That's kind of what makes it fun. He ends up in on the joke pretty fast, where he's like, I suppose I'm just like a horrible nerd who's getting wasted talking about these games. That was a fun. I remember thinking it was really funny that like, oh, the guy is just going to get wasted and talk about games that nobody cares about anymore. Yeah, which of course now is like so played out on the internet, you couldn't believe it. But back then it was like that's a funny idea that like a guy never got past his. Yeah.
Oh God. I just had to go through that whole like what 3 hour, 2 or 3 hour Dylan the Night Owl video of a Spoony Bard last Friday. And yeah, I mean even by the time that Spoony came out in like what 08, like just like a few years after James, Pat the NES Punk, I mean, God, like it didn't take any time at all until like other YouTubers started like just playing out that angry reviewer formula of like obscure games. Yeah, I mean, and then after those guys came out, geez, it just turned into this like ocean of anonymous angry dude reviewers. Yeah. I dipped when I first started YouTube, I like dipped my toe into like throwing some AVGN isms into my early game reviews, and then I just kind of realized I didn't even want to do game reviews anymore because like fucking everybody was doing it, and a lot of them had way more subs than me. So I was like, why am I gonna try to compete in this area? So I gave up.
So he ends up affiliated with Game Trailers through a small website at the time called Screw Attack, who sets it up as a business. The guy's name is James Rolfe. It turns into the Angry Video Game Nerd. He has help from his best friend or a college friend named Mike Matei.
Yeah, Jason Graves, Red Cavalcade says Jason Graves has figured out a way to be an interesting successor to like AVGN. I would say Jason Graves is doing the kind of the Gen Z like post irony thing, and I think that's a fresh take, almost like Scott the Woz, you know, like guys like that, where it's like just post irony, like not, I don't know, just whatever that sounds like. That sounds right somehow to me, but yeah, it's kind of like they're not like trying to be like good actors, or maybe it's not post irony. Maybe it's just irony, the ironic gaming reviewer, where like everything they do is like it's like played as funny, but it's not supposed to be funny. I don't know, but yeah, it does. I think that's like the way to keep it fresh, is to kind of whatever that genre is. I'm not good at naming these genres from shooting from the hip, but whatever.
Who we find in reality is the gamer of the two, and James is like a movie guy. His dream in life is to be an independent filmmaker, and he really doesn't have much of a YouTube presence for a long time. He's on Game Trailers, so he's really sponsored content through a website for a very long time. Like I want to say until 2010 or 2011 or something, for years.
Yeah. When I first got into Angry Video Gamer Nerd, yes, YouTube was around, but I was watching him on.
This is the year that Frankie's doing the documentary about the AVGN movie. That would be fucking epic. You know, that would bring in the bacon there.
On Game Trailers through Screw Attack, yeah.
So he starts showing his hand more in his content. He starts showing like, I'm a real human being. I'm not just this goof ass. I'm a goof ass too. You know, he releases the episodes on DVD. There's making of. So it starts after a while. You're like, this is kind of like a show that I watch in real life. You know, it's like one of those really early, like, oh, I could just watch this instead of traditional media. Or
yeah, I had that same experience when I started watching AVGN consistently. I was like, I couldn't believe that, like, wow, I'm like watching this episodic kind of internet TV series. Like I never thought I would do that. I just thought like only like, I don't know. I thought like people who are really like chronically online just were the only people who watched that kind of shit. Like my brother, like back in the day, like I feel like he would be, he's 4 years older than me, so I feel like he would have been a perfect candidate for someone that would do that. But then I found myself doing that with AVGN, and I was like, wow. And then like to me, they were just as entertaining as like, if not more than something I would have seen on traditional media or traditional TV, just because it was so niche, and I knew you would never find something like that on even like G4 back in the day, like the gaming network or whatever, gaming channel, which I loved G4, and I watched a lot of shows on there. But even G4 was like really slick, and it kind of had to appeal. Like every show had to kind of appeal to like as conceivably as many people as possible. And AVGN was just so niche that it was like right up my alley, because he's talking about, and it's like, oh, I remember playing all those games, or games like those games that he's talking about, and you know, running into frustrations like the frustrations he's talking about in this other game that I may not have played, but I guess it turned out to not be that fucking niche, because goddamn, did that become a fucking popular thing to make videos about. Crappy video games from the NES and Super NES.
For traditional TV, it's like, in that way, he was a pioneer. He was kind of like defining what pop culture review entertainment looks like on the internet, which became, like nonfiction review type content became massive on YouTube. The prominent other examples would come along like Red Letter Media and Plinkett and stuff like that, but he was early. And since then, a lot of people have done it better, but he was early.
Yeah, I mean, my first video I made for the internet was 2008, and it was directly inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd. Like just the fact that it was possible,
right?
That inspired me.
Yeah,
and,
no doubt.
I made my first EJ review, which was just, I was like, oh, he can do it, but I want to do it, but I want to make it insane.
I'm sure literally thousands of people, because they saw, he was like the Clerks of YouTube in a way. Like it was enabling. And I remember thinking by that point,
I'm like nervous over here, wondering if I'm ever gonna see like a sight of Frankie's testy on the right leg at any point. Like it's like right there. Like there's like, it's like a quarter inch of material separating that testy from the rest of the world. It's just on the borderline that whole time.
I had made 2 feature films that had been in festivals and had, like one of them got distribution and stuff. And that was where my head was like festivals and distribution, and like, can I get DVD sales? And he was the first time where I was like, maybe I don't have to move to Los Angeles. Maybe I can stay in my house and make stuff. And
even though James did move to Los Angeles to do that stupid fucking movie, when he could have just done it somewhere where he lived, or like, I think what EJ, one of his comments later on referring to the AVGN movie was, or if it rains a lot in Pennsylvania, base the movie around rain or whatever, like base it around where you live, but yeah, I think James learned his lesson from that one for sure. That's why we haven't even gotten a sniff of anything even resembling a feature-length film since the AVGN movie.
Yeah, I was like, this dude's getting, they're running Burger King ads on his website. Like maybe this is the new model. And I remember thinking that was like a eureka. And it was, ultimately. It was like, that's what people do now. I mean, back then, if you talk to a young person who was into entertainment, they would say, I want to be a filmmaker. I don't think you don't run into quite as much I want to be a filmmaker as you run into I want to be a YouTuber now.
Yeah, well, because that's where the energy is, really.
Right.
And, 2008, man, I was just graduated from engineering school, and I saw this stuff, and I was like, maybe media in general is what I want to do, and that's probably what led me to Emerson. So maybe if it wasn't for the Angry Video Game Nerd, we wouldn't have a relationship.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, yeah, whether or not he meant to, and I'm sure he didn't mean to. I mean, he often talks about like he was ready to hang it up after the first one, then after the third one, then after the 10th one. Like it was never meant to have as much longevity, but he really did something remarkable by accident, kind of. He really just stepped in it. And one of the things I thought was really impressive about the way he grew was once he started showing who he was like, maybe I could do some non-angry video game nerd content. Maybe I could do, during the month of October, every day I'll do a horror review, and it'll be Monster Madness. And, later.
Monster Madness screams not on screen. Let me explain to you the finer points of candy corn. Let me smell this box of Whoppers. Let me fucking show you all my dank ass costumes I keep in this dank ass fucking, looks like one of those in like a fucking haunted mansion. You touch the bookcase and it like, swings open and there's like it's just a hidden closet of all of his nasty fucking blood-soaked nerd costumes and shit. What a great Monster Madness we got in 2025.
Down the line, Mike Matei was like, let's do a Let's Play show, and it'll be more edited than your average Let's Play show. Or we'll do Turtle Tuesdays. Every Tuesday we'll do this deep dive on the original Ninja Turtles show or something like that. So they took a lot of pride and a lot of time, and I think it was really mostly the two of them for a long time. Then they did a board game show, and they kept it going for a long time, culminating in 2014. He says, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker.
Oh, 1999, shoot for Josh, Jen Stowe. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it so much. I don't know why I kept liking and unliking that. Appreciate that so much. Thank you.
I want your Kickstarter help. I want to make a feature-length film. And he makes, because it's the thing that he's notorious for, he makes the Angry Video Game Nerd movie for $300,000+, crowdfunded by fans. And he tries to make it as, he for some reason shoots it. And it was one of the, if you follow the guy as we did, you start to see a lot of curious decisions. Like I must shoot this in Los Angeles, because that's where movies are shot. That kind of weird stuff. But I was never particularly critical of him. I was always kind of rooting for him. He was well known for not getting into drama, and he almost stepped in some drama in 2016. He said, I'm not going to review or watch the Ghostbusters 2016 movie because
boy did he dance around that drama. He's like, I'm just not going to review it. I don't think it looks good. I don't think it's going to be funny. He never did the thing, man. He never did the thing that everyone else did. He tap danced around it. But he never said it. I don't even know if he was thinking it. I think he was, but he didn't say it. And he still awakened the ire from fucking comedy hack Patton Oswalt, who I used to think was funny, but I don't know. Now I just think he's kind of annoying. He had some good bits back in the day. Patton did. I own a few of his comedy CDs. Yeah, James just caught some strays from Patton for no reason. I guess Patton was still like angry because his fucking dead wife wrote this on the movie or something like that, and he felt like James was coming after yet another, nerd coming after the Ghostbusters franchise because it's all worm instead of it being dudes and whatever. Well, the movie sucked on its own virtue anyway, whether it was a all-female cast or not. So there's that.
He goes, I can tell it's not going to be good, and I don't want...
Yeah, people say that Patton murdered his wife. I don't know about any of that, but that is something I've heard.
I'll watch movies that I think aren't going to be good. And he was attacked for being sexist.
But he was right.
And instead of responding to it, he didn't respond to it whatsoever.
That's the right way to handle it too.
Right. So he got a lot of props for that. I remember around that time they were like, man, this guy, like, he's been around for a long time. He's made good content. When there's drama afoot, he doesn't capitalize on it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's just doing his own thing. The movie, unfortunately, nowadays it wouldn't be hard to find somebody who would admit that the movie did not come out good.
Yeah.
The movie was 2 hours, which was about an hour longer than it needed to be. And I mean, because it was really thin on ideas. With again a lot of curious creative decisions, characters that never were in the show, which ironically was like one of the things he was very critical about.
It's funny. Brelly Ghost says David Cross was more goated of the alt '90s comedians. If you go back and listen to his "Shut Up You Fucking Baby" or "It's Not Funny," those are his two like big '90s albums. Dude, if you go back and listen to those now, he would get so canceled. Like the shit, like he's a left wing, uber left wing, like alt comic. And if I'm telling you, if you go back and listen to those albums, I mean, he straight up drops the N word, hard R. I mean, it's all ironic, you know, because he's a super lib. So of course it's ironic. He doesn't, you know, mean it. But he still said it. And nowadays, you'd be fucked if you did that. I think David Cross doesn't want people to go back and listen to a lot of his stand-up stuff he did in the 90s because it would be very much it would not be in keeping with how the left are now. So that's about as deep as I'm going to tread into those waters.
In his video game reviews, he was like, how come Krang's not in this video game or whatever? Like, well, how come like Shit Pickle is not, you know, some of his characters from the show, how come they're not in this movie? Just a really, really bad comedy. And there were like some set pieces that kind of worked, but others that were really slapped together. Very, very bad structure and storytelling and editing. It just wasn't good. I actually saw it in a movie theater. Like I went out to a movie theater and saw it because he four-walled it all around the country. And yeah, I was excited. It was between the weekends that Guardians of the Galaxy and the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. It was 2014. So during that time, he was releasing regular updates and blogs about how the movie was going. You kind of had to. It was crowdsourced. He needs to tell people how it's going.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I really started to hear him sound desperate for time. Where he can't.
It's like I'm a third pundit, right? I'm like laughing along, and man, I'm like right in there. I'm right in the room with these guys.
You know, he's so bogged down by this movie production, and he's trying to keep the channel afloat. So his buddy Mike, who had never really been on camera before, he had been like costumed on camera, but he never came on as his own like personality. He's like, hey, now it's Mike reviews, and like that wasn't super well received for a while. Eventually, I think he got kind of christened in, but at first, like he was editing the stuff, and he was.
Yeah, I remember when James was doing his whole LA thing or whatever, making the movie, and then Mike would do all the shit that Mike did, and I just remember thinking like, who the fuck's this? It's like, dude, I already like really went out on a limb here to like be like, okay, I trust this guy, this AVGN guy. He's you know, I'm dedicated to watching his series. Now, who the fuck's this other guy? Like, I don't know who. I didn't sign up for this guy. I signed up for James, and now I got to watch this guy's fucking videos. And yeah, that was a weird point for me as a viewer of the content, because I was like, I have no interest in. It's like, who's Mike Matei? Why do I want to see his top 10 SNES game video? That was a pretty solid video. I mean, compared to all the other shit he did on the channel, Brown Bricks and Inspector Gadget and all that. Compared to all that stuff, the SNES top 10 was one of his better videos that he did, but I digress.
And he made some really bizarre videos that are now totally notorious. Like he did this one about Minecraft and this one with Inspector Gadget that are just, it's like, I just don't know what drug-addled state he was in to have created that.
The famous brown blocks or whatever, right?
Yeah, brown bricks with Minecraft. And he knows that dude knows that that's ridiculous. And so he references it all the time too. So James starts being like, hey, like, and he starts going into detail about how hard it is to get everything done. You know, what a whirlwind. And I don't question it again, because he's making a big old movie and he's trying to keep a channel afloat, and he's doing, you know, he's got spinning a lot of plates, and his output was still pretty good. Like he would still like, but he would start to say stuff like, "Hey, I know you're all asking for a new board games or a new you know what's bullshit, and I don't think you're going to see one of those this year, but next year I want to do a batch of them." And so you would kind of set expectations, which is what you do if you have fans that are actually clamoring for your content. But then that became the new normal, where year after year, all we heard about was how little time this dude had, and not just how little time to produce stuff, but how little time to like even engage in pop culture at all, which is the bread and butter of the whole channel. Like, I've never watched that show because I have no time. I've never watched that movie because I have no time. I've never played that game because I don't really play games, but because I have no time. Then he had children. He had 2 daughters, and that sort of became like, that's why I'm so busy, is because I have kids. And I don't know when he hired Screenwave, an external group that came from the guy who ran his website. This group of uncharismatic video editors that Reddit calls the slobs.
Jeez, I think this video came out. This was at 2021, late 2020. Wasn't this before all the before Screenwave just came in and like did its full damage? Like I think that came in 2022 or 23, because 2023 was like, I think the first either 2022 or 2023 was the first year I started doing the like Cinemassacre year in review, when I'd look at like all the shit that they did. It was either 22 or 23 when like Screenwave came in with their full effect of that shitty podcast of rental reviews, which I think you know, people are looking back at that show with like rose-colored glasses somehow, because like I've heard the comment a lot that like, I actually really liked rental reviews, and it's like, I don't know, man, just go back and rewatch one of those episodes and tell me if you still like it or not, because like I just remember all the slobs doing all the talking, James barely ever commenting. You know, there's the whole yeah, there's that whole meme, but even outside of the meme, like it's like that's why everyone shows up to a Cinemassacre thing, is for what James is going to say, and what preferably what James is going to say curated on some kind of teleprompter or cue card or something that he's already pre-written and has already put thought into, not James off the cuff, because he is at his worst and he is at his lowest abilities when he is off the cuff, and that's what we got at that point, and it was awful. All that Screenway stuff was just really like low quality, arguably low effort content to sell brand deals.
Yes, slobs, if you will.
I don't know when. I think like 2017 is when they kind of got brought into the fold. Pardon the pun, but
good pop from the crowd.
But I want to say around 2018 is when they all started like coming on camera together and talking about movies. And
this is when I dropped out. When they started doing like the rental reviews, I was just like, who are these people? I'm confused. I don't think I'm going to follow this channel.
That was what EJ just, that was general consensus, I think, for everybody. Honestly, I think that's what everyone got so bent out of shape about. Is like, who are these people? I'm confused. I don't think I'm going to watch this anymore. I mean, that was certainly my take on it. Was like, it's like, man, it was one thing to ask me to like sign up for Mike, you know, when Mike started making content on Cinemassacre. So that was one thing, and it's like I could wrap my head around that eventually, because he was already in so many of the classic AVGN episodes, you know, where he was Bugs Bunny or the Joker or whatever. It was a whole nother thing to get to add like 4 additional dudes who were all just these fat, slobby, just clearly Dungeons and Dragons enthusiasts, people that would have been one thing if they all came from like these big channels that, well, actually, Justin, came from this channel that has this big following, and he's made good content. Well, if you've seen Silvermania, which I did a whole video about, you know what kind of content little edgelord Lusty Justy made. Yeah, they were just like unknowns. Like there was like 4 of them that I was supposed to just accept right off the bat, just not going to really say who these people are, but here they are, and accept them because they're going to be here. They're not going anywhere. We have like 3 series that are featuring them. So, yeah, it really, like EJ says at some point in this video that James was like some convalescent old man and, suffering from dementia, and the Screenwave people came in like his shitty kids who were trying to like take advantage of him and be like, yeah, Grandpa, we're just going to wheel you over here in the corner, and we're just going to, siphon off all of your clout and, all your viewership with our opinions and in our faces. And yeah, that didn't work so well, come to find out.
Anymore. And it was just because they were not fun. And more than that, James was less fun in those videos.
Yeah, so he's heavily critiqued for like, he'll sit there and go, yeah, like as if he didn't see the film or he has nothing really to add anyway. Like he can't speak extemporaneously, it would seem. He has to be scripted. Yeah, it's true. That was around the time they started doing the rental reviews, was when the content like took like kind of an unsatisfactory drop. Like you could put up with some drop in quality here and there for this reason or that reason, but that was like, okay, this is now like very poor YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I can find better YouTube. Like there's plenty of better content out there.
Absolutely. Or there's so much things to get your time. Some people who are actually like, more charismatic and put a lot of energy into it. And when you see that drop in quality, you just don't want to watch it,
Now, I think like many, didn't realize what I was watching. I thought that they were his buddies or family members or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like, oh, I guess these are friends I've never seen before.
Yeah, and I because he had friends come in and out, and it turned out like some of them he sort of pushed away with his negligence and stuff, but which he's heavily critiqued for now. But I thought these guys were just friends. No, they're hired. They're basically like hired friends in a way. Because I didn't know they were producing the content. And it was one of my friends pointed it out to me. I had no idea. He makes this show called, What's Bullshit, where it's like observational comedy. Like, I hate how you can't plug things into the TV in a hotel or whatever.
It's kind of crazy to see early Red Cow stuff where they didn't have their own slobs yet. And it's just like this long form conversation, which I still find really interesting, and it definitely does, I think, work better as an audio like podcast in the sense of like you can easily put this on as like you're, I don't know, cleaning your house or fucking, I don't know, spray painting your cat or whatever you do in your free time. Now like I'm already thinking about all the clips that they'd be inserting as they're talking, because I'm just like so used to that editing style now, to where it's almost like you almost kind of need to watch the Red Cow podcast video, because like they're gonna show and play audio and visual examples of everything that they're referring to, and it's funny to see it like this. The early stages. Yes, I'm glazing Red Cow. So what? I've been doing it since day one.
What's the deal with TVs? And he did one about inflatable Christmas decorations, and my friend was like, "Man, I really just hate how Screenwave made this." And I was like, what? And I was like, who's
Frankie? I don't care if you appreciate me or not. I'm going to continue to enjoy your content as long as I like it. And the second I don't like it, don't think you're beyond me making a downfall video of. No, I'm just playing.
Screenwave? He's like, oh, those are those guys. I was like, what guys? He's like, the guys that are in rental reviews. I was like, oh. And I was like, and they what? He's like, they wrote that and they shot that and they edited that. I was like, they made the whole, like, literally all James did was record the voiceover. And I was like, no, because you got to keep in mind, like, that's not that unusual for, teams of people to create content, but it was for Cinemassacre, the channel name. Because
if you make a downfall video of a channel with as few subs as ours, ellipsis. Hey, man, I made a video about your channel saying that I liked it like 2 or 3 years ago, and it got like 10,000 views. So don't sell yourself short, man.
James had been such a, I don't know, like a DIY guy for so long. He was so engaged with the stuff that he was making. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He made like what, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos.
Yeah, like even just Monster Madness, which was kind of an event, you know?
Yeah.
Because it would be 30 days or 31 days of just pure content every day. And you could tell it was James doing it, or at least, you know, spearheading it.
And I was like, how do you know that they did it? And he was like, well, for one thing, there's a shot of him walking into the, or the character, the first person perspective of the character that's talking, walking into a Home Depot, and you can literally see Kieran, who they call the caveman Kieran. You can see his reflection when he walks in.
Okay, now that point there, whatever that thing was a part of that he was talking about, Monster Madness or whatever, where he's walking into a Home Depot and you see a reflection of Kieran. Now, don't you find it funny that for this year, for the Monster Madness Screams Not on Screen, James is doing the Halloween costume one, and he does the Spirit of Halloween, and you know, the moment he walks in front of that fucking mirror and waves, you know that was a response to everyone bringing up this point. Yeah, like, you know that was a, hey, bitch, I'm filming it. You fucking cry babies. I needed help. And then when I got help, everyone cried about it. So now here I am physically in the store. You happy now? Like, it was, I don't know. I might be looking too deeply into this, but there's a little passive aggressive when he looks into that mirror. I think he should have been doing a middle finger when he, like, should have had his little cell phone and doing the middle finger, like, I'm actually recording this, bitch.
And I was like, oh my, and he was like, doesn't it feel kind of fraudulent? Like there's like an imposter, like somebody's puppeteering James. And I was like, that's so fucked up. I had no idea. And then there was an AVGN that had come out soon after. It was about like a Pepsi Man PlayStation game, which already was like, did he play PlayStation?
Pepsi Man's a good game, by the way. It's not a great game. It's like a temple run game. It doesn't suck ass. It's a fun game. I yet again, I did another video I did where I covered 10 of James's video games that he reviewed that he said were ass, that I just wanted to play for myself just to see how bad or maybe not as bad they were. And Pepsi Man was one of the few games where I disagree. I feel like that's a pretty decent game.
Or anything after that, you know, any other like more modern systems? And my friend was like, notice how like loosely it's edited. Like, it's not tight the way, like...
This is one thing I wanted to say about this video, like, ever since the first time I seen it. Your friend, whoever said that, notice how loosely it's edited and it's not tight? Man, you and your friends that you hang out with there, your eye for, like, editing and all that shit must be so keen to notice, like, if James did or didn't. I mean, it would have to be such a broad fuck up for me to notice that it wasn't edited in a style that James would normally do. But like, I would have never caught that in a million years. I would have never caught that the editing was not, it wasn't any old friend. Was it EJ? Like, but yeah, or Junt. I don't know. Yeah, I was remember listening to that. I was like, man, I don't know. I don't think I would have ever caught that.
You know, James tends to edit a little bit tight. It reminded me of when we had John edit a Box Mac.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, there's probably a big percentage of the audience that doesn't know the difference. But like, I know the difference.
I would know the difference. It was looser. You know, some more breathing time. You're a little bit more of a tight. You have a different pace. Yeah, different type of pace.
Yeah. So that was when I was like, oh, this is like, maybe he's decided that he wants to just outsource the whole channel and just, you know, be with his family. And, you know, it's not the most preposterous idea, which is, you know, like we know that at some point Matt Groening said, all right, guys, take it away and I'll make the money. Like
Yeah.
it's
Or,
not,
yeah.
and you think a guy earns that after 15 years or something. It's not, but you're going to lose some audience in the process, and that's fine. Now, last year, I discovered a Reddit dedicated to this topic, and it's called the Cinemassacre Truth, and it's all about all of this kind of peculiar stuff. And at first, it's
Oh Jesus, the Cinemassacre Truth. I literally don't even go there anymore. I stopped going there like at least a year or so ago. And from anyway, no, okay. My lawyers told me I have to not comment any further on that line of dialogue there. Yeah, no, Frankie, I thought you were I don't know. I think that's why I like how you are seemingly gracious with James in this video at certain points. It kind of gave the video more objectivity, to where it's like, okay, well, they're just not going in guns ablaze and just shitting on the guy. Like, it just made it seem more balanced. Like, so when they do make a criticism about James in this video, then it must be like really like a concern. It must be really bad, because they haven't been just purely shitting on, like, I don't know, there's so many channels out there, I won't name them, but I mean, I almost can't make my point without bringing up the channel. There are certain channels out there that just shit on people or a certain person and every single thing they do, no matter what they do. And it just gets to a certain point to where it's like, well, if this person can just never do anything right, you've kind of lost credibility there, because it's like nobody is always this or never that or always one thing or always another thing. It's like, no, it's like everybody's like a three-dimensional character for the most part, like in real life. So, you know, I don't know. I guess that was one thing that made me be like, okay, well, maybe I can actually like put more like weight or whatever into what this video is saying, because like it wasn't just purely like taking a shit on James the whole time. Anyway,
really like kind of immature attacks on these.
I didn't say Kino Casino. I did not say that.
Overweight dudes, you know, and it's like it's juvenile and funny, but it's not really like, I don't know, it's not especially interesting to just make fun of people that we all watch on the internet. It became intriguing and fascinating when it started to get to the heart of James Rolfe, the psychology of James Rolfe, where you start to realize, you're like, no, this all comes from the top. This all comes from the guy that runs the show. And when he says, I don't, you know, it's like you're on your 8th year of I don't have time for anything, and you literally don't edit, you don't shoot, you don't write. What the fuck is taking up all your time? And it is your day job, so it's not like there's like some competing day job or something. It starts to not make any sense. And then he also like wasn't providing any further explanation. And so as the critiques added up, as they started to like, you started to see people make these no time jokes in the comments of the actual videos. And there's lots of reason to believe that the channel deletes the negative comments and stuff. Which is why, in part, the Reddit popped up, because there kind of needed to be like a community of people that wouldn't be censored about.
Yeah, you need to vent that out. You need an outlet.
So I think it's now 10,000 people strong, and I think it attracted pretty funny, pretty intelligent, probably IT type guys. You know, a lot of like there's sophisticated comedy on that thing.
Yeah, I think so.
There's like,
and then there's also just some really dumb, like, bottom of the barrel, like, just most obvious. I mean, anytime a video of me or anything that I've done gets posted on there, it's like, and I think what Frankie's referring to, like, years ago, like, versus what it's become now in like the last 2 or 3 years versus what it was back when he was first bringing it up. I mean, just for an example, anytime one of my videos gets posted on there by somebody else, it's always you know, oh, grifty green hair, hot topic, emo, gay, you know, but they use the gamer word instead of saying gay. You know, like, he must need money again to pay his bills this month. He's covering, you know, James, and just some of the, I don't know, just the most boring, basic, like, troll comments. And then, you know, it's like, all right, once again, my lawyers are informing me I shouldn't say any more on that. But, like, yeah, it might have used to be that, I think it used to be that way. I think by the time one of my videos got on there, it just became, like, it's like, okay, this is just literally another, like, 4chan, like, troll channel kind of thing. It's like, I don't know, the wittiness and funniness. I mean, and I don't know, you guys have brought this up, that the Cinemassacre Truth kind of, that subreddit, like, kind of died a long time ago as far as, like, originality and shit that was actually funny and new and not hacky and played out and all that. So, but I mean, whatever.
You know, there's a wiki dedicated to, like, here's how to understand what we're laughing at. Is it mean? Yes, all the time it's mean. Of course, it to be like, leave.
Oh God, when did grifter become the fastest thing to say? Yeah, that. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I was like, you know, when you sign up for YouTube or some other of these sites, I feel like you should take, like, you should have, like, a little, like, training packet that you have to take, where you have to, like, read and memorize the definition of what grifter actually is, what a shill actually is, what cringe actually means, before you can, like, get on and use these websites, just, like, as a, you know, just so you know, this, we've made you aware of what these words actually mean. So when you misuse them or you overuse them, you're the one who's the idiot. It's not anybody else's fault, because we've told you what these words mean now, and you are knowingly misusing them just to describe someone that you don't like at this point, because you think it's the big, got him, he's a grifter, got him, gotta support the DWG grift. Damn, dunked on his ass. Like, yeah, it's I'm so tired of, like, seeing that word thrown around. It's really annoying and played out.
The guy alone is kind of like, well, first of all, he's very much a public figure at this point, and second of all, his whole channel is he's literally, like, taking, like, fake dumps on video games. You know, it's his whole thing is like, I you know, let's make fun of stuff that exists. It's not really outside of the spirit of James, but really they're all big fans at the heart. And so for the past year, the Screenwave guys have come in there. Some of them have been antagonistic. Some of them have tried to, like, make peace with the dissenters and answer their questions. And they're prominent YouTubers have now put up videos about how this is a harassment board. And so the typical culture war stuff has popped up where it's like, you're nothing but man babies in your basements, and it's like, well, you're just not, you can't take an offensive joke. And but the enduring question has been, does James, dramaless James, does he know any of this is going on?
Oh yeah.
Is he paying attention to these questions? Will he ever make an attempt to answer these questions? Because the more it went on, the more, like, every time he offered even a little bit more information, it just begged more questions. We talked last time about an email he had sent to a fan saying, yeah, I am really behind. Yeah, I have no time. I spend all my time troubleshooting technology in my set. And we laughed and laughed and laughed.
I can't believe he responded to a fan's email. Like, that to me is, like, beyond the pale for James Rolfe. Like, I can't believe he, like, took the time to do that. That's, like, I don't know, that would be like, the chances of James doing that now would be, like, probably similar chances of you, like, winning, like, one of those scratch off tickets that you get at the gas station. Like, 1 out of every 10,000 people might get, like, a response type thing.
And there was a guy in our comments that said, I don't think that email is real. Well, it is.
It's totally, completely real. Now that we've seen that updated video.
So I want to go through it. So it is truly, it's 22 minutes of James saying, hey, let me bring you behind the scenes of Cinemassacre. And also, I'm going to address some criticism of he calls it, of the asshole-ish variety, which, yeah, there's the brilliant meme of Leo DiCaprio being like, "Ooh, that's me," that the Reddit is running with. The asshole-ish variety has really taken off on that Reddit.
Taken off and just beaten into the ground to a bloody fucking pulp.
When I watched it, I've now watched the video 7 times, I want to say, like start to finish.
Just really studied it.
I have, because the first time I watched it, I thought I was in a dream. Like I thought I had a dream where he actually addressed any of this shit. Because it's like preposterous, even though he should. It's preposterous to me that he would, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yes.
I would say, to summarize, I would say that the nature of the video is non-apologetic. That's for sure.
Yes.
There's not one moment of, you know what, and you have a point here, and that's on me, and I'm, there's not one moment of that.
No.
Not even a little. And head slob Justin, when he joined when he did an AMA one time on Cinemassacre Truth, that's all he did. It was just empty, like, oh, that's on me, I'll do that better next time. Like, that was his go.
Dude, Justin's like readiness to respond to anybody. Like, there was this one when I did my Silvermania video like last year about Justin's channel before he started working with James Rolfe. There was already like this one other guy who had done a video about Justin Silverman, and I think to this day the guy still only has like 5, 6, 7,000 subscribers, which is a good number for any channel that's starting out or whatever. I'm not like sub shaming if that's a thing, but my point being is that Justin responded to that video that was made of him on with that guy's video. And he had this like whole list of bullet points as to like clapping back. And then I made my video and like it got like struck down for bullying and harassment. And it wasn't anything that I did or said. It was what Justin's fucking edgelord ass said in those videos that I was pointing out, that, because there's like literally like all of the gamer words. Like he was this late 2000s, early 2010s edginess, where it's like, I'm going to be edgy and, just say just all the words you could think that someone would say while playing a computer game. He didn't bleep it out or anything like that. He just actually said the word or whatever. So like that ended up getting the video struck down. I actually like DM'd Justin because I was told he was like easy to get to, and like he responded back at first with like just saying, nope, not me, didn't do it. And I was like, all right, well, I'm surprised he responded, but the short curt response was about what I expected from like someone who helps run a video game convention and has worked in close quarters with James Rolfe. I would expect, if I even get a response at all, I would expect it to be really short. Well, I guess he couldn't help himself, because then he sends me like this several paragraph long response, like hours later, talking about how, people like to bring up all these bad things that I've done, but they don't bring up the fact that like I got James to these numbers and that we've done this and that we've done that. And then he was saying that he saw that I burned my Justin Silverman shirt in the video and that he'd be willing to send me like a shirt and stickers or something like that. And I was just like, dude, I bought your shirt as like a lol, and I wore it on my streams as a lol, and I burnt it as a final lol. And it's like, are you grooming me right now, Justin? Are you like trying to groom me to be on your side and be like, hey guys, Justin Silverman's not that bad of a guy at all. He gave me a free shirt and some stickers. Man, guys, stop making fun of him so much. Like, but like he will respond to like almost anything. Like he must have some Google alert set to whenever he's mentioned at all anywhere. And he is like in there with the quickness to like respond. Like I think he subscribed to my channel. He commented on my State of Cinemassacre 2025 video I did, and he's like saying like, just glad to be here, something like that. And yeah, Justy's big on responding to people. Can't help himself. So it doesn't surprise me that he dipped his dick right into the Cinemassacre Truth AMA or whatever it was. Does not strike me as surprising at all.
Too. James ain't playing with that shit.
No, he's pure diva.
Pure diva. And as he went into detail about his technical woes, which you and I, as studied filmmakers, YouTubers ourselves, decades of experience with videography and editing.
That's my career.
Yeah, DJ's career. I've been doing it since I was a boy. We can call bullshit on this stuff very easily, and I believe the Reddit can too. It does seem like there's a lot of tech dudes in there.
Yeah. There's some people who aren't tech dudes, but they know something's wrong. Yeah, it's like that seems weird. That seems messed up.
And that's what's so funny is that he presents his technical problems. And to be clear, this video.
Oh, now they're getting into the video. All right, they're finally getting into the James Rolfe's bizarre breakdown of the Nerd Room 2021 and all that shit. Okay, this is where this video really picks up for me.
Is like of the 22 minutes, I'd say 17 of them are him perseverating on these bizarre technical issues.
Bizarre solutions to problems that can be solved easily.
But he presents them not as if like, hey, does anybody know what you do about X? Or he presents them like they're kind of impressive. Like, oh man, when you're a YouTuber, you got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, you got to tape the.
Oh, I just fucking. Oh man, I look like such a simp right now. I just quoted that line for line. What a simp. I've seen this video like 4 or 5 times at least. Not gonna lie.
Tripods to the ceiling.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Oh my god.
So I'm just gonna kind of go chronologically because okay. I don't want there to be anything about this video that we left uncommented on. I want to go hard. He starts the video off by saying, oops, I just realized at the end of shooting this that I didn't plug in the primary microphone.
All right, full stop. Embarrassing.
But also,
why would you mention that?
That's it. Never address it.
Unnecessary to admit because he had an overhead mic that recorded fine and sounded just as well.
Yeah, it was like at my work, somebody record something for me and use 2 different microphones. And he was like, should we like put a note when we send out this email with this video that there was 2 different audio? I'm like, no, never. Yeah. You never draw attention to it. You just like try to mask it as much as you can. You just send it out.
Yeah. And the average person will not question it for sure. There's this issue central to this video, which is the amount of effort required to make different kinds of videos. This is really, really fundamental to understanding the following discussion. In the early days, he would have gameplay footage and he would record commentary over it. Sometimes he would cut to himself, and that was kind of it. He evolved the show, and I think in the process evolved the medium and certainly his own brand by making them kind of more faux cinematic. Let me be clear, not actually cinematic, but like kind of like almost satires of cinema. Like I'm a dude in my bedroom, but I'm getting creative with the camera, And I actually remember in those days, people would get kind of like, oh, I don't like it when you dress up like an idiot and dress up like Batman and talk about Batman, just review the game. And the audience was split on that. But I think as long as the commentary on the game was entertaining, then that was like the highest priority thing. So this whole issue of like, I don't have time to make the more cinematic ones. Can't I just make the more generic ones? I think is distracting from the issue of like, no, your recent videos are just bad, and they're bad because you're not making them or you don't care. But he used a recent episode that he did called I think it was like called Las Vegas or something. It was about like casino based video games, and the whole thing is a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas parody. And he used that as an example of like, well, I just made one of those, and it was a passion project, and it had tons of effects, and it's a miracle we pulled it off during COVID. And you and I, EJ, watched this with our friend John, who also is experienced with this stuff.
I've still never seen the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas episode. Also, for anyone who thinks I'm wearing shorts, yeah, see there? That's a pant leg. Thirdly, Frankie, but that would be a great idea for Dancing with Ghosts to stream. What would be a great idea for me to stream? Any update on any possible update on the interview with that Nettles guy? I don't know if that was the idea for me to stream. I don't know who Nettles is. What else? I don't know what else. Have you seen any of the videos on the Change the Channel document that guy Nettles did? Probably. I don't know. I did videos about the Change the Channel thing when it was happening back in like 2018 or 2019. I like a long time ago. I can still remember. I did videos on that whole thing as well. That's another thing that's been beaten into the ground as far as I'm concerned. The Doug Walker Channel Awesome Change the Channel thing. Like, I'm so tired of. It's been forever since I've heard about it, but I remember every detail like it was yesterday, and because it was just there. I mean, much like this James Rolfe shit, there were people who made whole ass. I saw YouTube channels blow up with thousands of like new subs just because they were like making like videos about Change the Channel, and it got sucked up into the algorithm the right way, and they blew up. And then as soon as they like made any video that wasn't about Change the Channel, it just went back to like 10 views again. That was kind of funny.
But John's he doesn't know the first thing about James. So he was like, can I see this Vegas video that he keeps talking about? And we showed it to him, and he was like, what is this shit? It was like, that embarrassing, cringy green screen type stuff.
Yeah.
That a lot of YouTubers do.
I mean, it's, it's like you can put a lot of effort into it, but it's still like, like a week's worth of effort into it.
Yeah, it looked like it took about a week at night, like to edit it. And then the shooting maybe it was a weekend. But I don't think so. I think the Slobs did the whole thing. I think he performed in it, and that was a big effort for him at this point in his life. So he used that as the passion project. He said it took several months. We always do Halloween and Christmas specials for our shows. We often do multiple specials per season, and we max ourselves out, but we love it. And they're all higher.
We'll shoot the special in like a day usually.
Yeah.
And I would say it's about the same quality. Like Birdemic had some special effects.
Well, Birdemic was specifically trying to be bad. But then there's others that we try to elevate. And I think being effective at shooting and editing can save you time. And so his effectiveness will be a relevant factor. I think he wants us to take it for granted that he's effective at this stuff. And also it's time consuming. Nay. He is clearly ineffective at this stuff. And that'll be one of my primary points.
Yeah,
okay.
Inefficiency, I would say.
Inefficiency. Yeah, right. Moving on, he won't get a new desk from his childhood. He has a childhood desk from the 80s.
He drilled a hole through.
They seem to have broken a hole through with maybe like a flathead screwdriver. And he needed it for a new gaming PC that the Slobs hooked him up with to capture game footage. He typically uses an EverDrive with a modded NES or whatever system with an HDMI out. So he's recording HDMI out, EJ, on, EverDrives. There gets to be a point, to a PC, there gets to be a point where you're like, why don't you just record emulated footage? Nobody will know.
Which I'm sure the Slobs do to supplement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm convinced that he's not the one playing in the gameplay footage. So why not just let the Slobs record some emulated footage and call it a day? So the whole thing about like, gameplay footage is very challenging to record. Like, the hell with it. Just emulate it.
Now, this is one thing I will say. once you get like any kind of a following, and I think, multiply that times, whatever the number, like I've got, around 20,000 followers or whatever, subscribers, what you want to call it. Like, multiply that times 20, and then you get to like James's level. And like, I've noticed this about like YouTubers with like, once they get to like, they find a system that works for them, they get really like oddly superstitious about like changing anything. And I've seen that for like every like big YouTuber. They get like, you rarely see these guys with like 300,000 plus subscribers. It's rare that you see them really change anything in the formula too dramatically. And I would say for James, because like he's been over 1 million for years now, like I gotta think that like that superstitious thing applies to him as well, to where like it's like, okay, well, why not just change the whole thing you've done? Back of the day for James, it was like very important for him to like have each individual console like wired to the DVD-R recorder that would record it onto a disc, and that's how he originally did it. And then he switched to like this, that, and the other. But like, I think at the end of the day for James, like it was just a bridge too far that he would not be using like an actual console. Like an EverDrive, sure, that's one thing, but you're still sticking something into a physical console and like recording it that way. And I don't know, man. I think there's like this superstition with people who like their whole livelihood depends on their channel and all that. And I think they feel like if they fuck with if they touch anything too much, it's like, oh, you fucked it up. That, you messed up the juju somehow. It almost becomes this like weird, like spiritual thing, to where it's like, no, everything must be exactly how I've always had it. Lest I fuck up one thing too much and change one thing too much, then the whole system's gonna come tumbling down, and somehow something weird's gonna happen. There's gonna be a ghost in the machine, and all my views will go down. Like that's the only thing that I could think when it comes to James, because it's like, oh, well, I've always done it this way, where people are used to seeing me jam the cartridge into the thing, and then after the fact I do direct record and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. That's my theory there.
I mean, unless it's Sega Saturn or something you can't emulate easily, but I don't know. He did a 3DO one recently. Maybe that would have been challenging. But yeah, he stabbed a hole in it to connect the computer in a room that already had limited space. And the limited space of this room is really the big thing. So I should be clear. He shoots Angry Video Game Nerd, his flagship show, in his garage. His garage, at his home. His garage is his game room, but it's now kind of like a replica of his old game room before he moved houses. So the primary shot is him sitting on a futon in front of a wall-ish, of shelves of games. And then sometimes there's like shelves of NES games that he walks up to, and then there's the TV and the consoles by the TV. That's kind of like as complex as it gets. And so the room is now essentially a set to shoot this in. But it's got like, I don't know, I can't tell because I've never been in it, but it seems like the square footage is very limited.
Yeah.
Like
so much so that you have to tape this tripod to the ceiling.
Well, not to mention, is his videographer that 400-pound guy? Because that's not a great room for 400-pound people.
No,
and we speak for experience. One of our best friends and collaborators is, a 400+ pound dude. So like, and look, it gets in the way, literally.
Didn't Dan Olson do the when he did his little diorama of that weird ass I don't know James Rolfe video that Dan Olson did, the homunculus guy with his $10 words over there, in his many projectors and just asinine ways of like showing footage, because he's an art house guy who's best friends with Lindsay Ellis, so say less about that. But that diorama that he made, wasn't that like a scaled down space of like the new nerd room where it's in the garage instead of in the basement? where you can see like just how close like the futon is to the TV and all that. That was probably the best part of that video, that Dan Olsen video, was like when they showed that diorama. It was like that right there. You could have just like done a whole video about how you made that and done a lot of close-ups on it. That would have been that would have been infinitely more watchable than like all that other stuff that he did in that video.
And figuratively.
Yes. Yeah, which makes me wonder, why don't they shoot at a studio or rent out a space or...
A wonderful question. I have a theory. So the Screenwave does have offices. They do. They once did a tour of it. They have a hallway and like offices for each of them, and they have sets. I think they have 2 sets. One that used to be like a game store of some kind, which they've now modded into a podcast studio. But they have space, is the point. And those guys could have a nice controlled space for him ready to go for Angry Video Game Nerd, their number one method of making money. All he'd have to do is drive on over, pop in, do the Krusty the Clown, hey, I'm talking Krusty, and get out of there. Not that that's what anybody wants, but that seems to be what he wants. And so this would be a better way to be lazy, frankly. He's not even good at being lazy. I think that's the other thing that's driving everybody a little crazy here.
Yeah, it's so baffling. I mean, even like we're not successful. I mean, we're successful for our own purposes, but we rented a studio for a while. If we were probably more successful, we'd still rent a studio.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was fun.
We would just film out of that, because that's what you do when you don't want to film in your garage that has limited space.
Well, yeah, when you have a show that always takes place in the same spot, it's not unreasonable to want to have a controlled space. Controlled space means that you don't have to do the tedium of setting up and breaking down. Not that, but for like a little digital show, I mean, we set up and break down all the time. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes here.
Yeah, but that 10 to 15 minutes was enough to make me not want to film a lot of times back when I used to film in my bedroom. That's why this exists. This shit, these lights that are outside of the frame, this fucking mic, this desk, this bookshelf, those uplights, the fucking soundproofing foam, this whole room exists because my fucking tripod with my teleprompter, the camera over there, none of this shit ever moves, because I got so sick of just even that 10 or 15 minutes of setup and breakdown was enough to drive me crazy, because it was like, I gotta set this up now. So I understand. I understand anyone's laziness and not wanting to do that every time you want to pop out a video. It's so much easier to just like flip on a few switches, turn that on, and then you're ready to go. $10 from Junkers. Here's your weekly allowance. Don't spend it on one place. Sweet. I'll go. I'll go to a dollar store or something. Buy a bunch of novelty soaps. Where in your house? So saith Frankie right now. Where in your house is that Dance Ghost? Is like an office / music recording space. This is a 3-bedroom house. There's like the master bedroom, which is where I used to film everything in like 2 or 3 years ago. Like literally my bed is like right off to like the left if you're watching it on video. You can like just literally see my bed chilling there, like that I actually slept in. And the other 2 bedrooms are like really small. Like I don't, like you could fit maybe like a twin bed in here and like a dresser. So I used one of my rooms for like my treadmill to like do my cardio in or whatever. And then this room that I'm in now used to be like my man cave for all my video games that I never played and my displays and shit like that. And I literally never used this room. It was just for me to walk into and go, oh, cool. Yeah, man. This is like a retro video game, like blockbuster type thing. This is so cool. And then like I'd bring people over and I'd bring them in here and they'd be like, wow, look at all these games. And then we would go on to do something else. And I don't know, the thought occurred to me one day. I was like, why the fuck do I have all this shit in here when I could just turn this into a room where I have everything plugged in all the time and turn it into like a set, if you will. And so I finally did that. And I was like probably one of the better, aside from implementing the teleprompter, having one single room as just a space that always stays this way with everything's always plugged in was like the second smartest thing I've done in regards to like upping my like YouTube channel game. I can't stress how much that teleprompter helped though too. The teleprompter and then having like a set space every time. Those are the main two things for me.
It's really nothing.
Yeah, I don't have tripods set up all the time. I set them up. It takes 20 minutes at most, even with the teleprompter.
And with a teleprompter, with mics.
With everything. I film it, and then I break it down and put it away. It takes, and this is me, I have a full-time job. I have children I have to put to bed.
Okay, yeah, so I just saw your thing that you were asking there. Yeah, so basically when I'm done doing my filming, I just move the shit to the side on my desk. I pull the laptop, in front of me, and then I edit in here too. Yeah, so it's all pretty much done in here. And if it's some music-based thing that needs to happen, then I do it in my other. That's where my music recording stuff is in my bedroom. But this is like all shooting stuff. So yeah.
I have everything that James has and more.
You do a good job with teleprompter eyes, Josh. EJ struggles with it because he can't see shit. Yeah, I think with EJ, it's just too close to his face. With me, my teleprompter's like, I don't know, maybe 5 feet away from me. So it's like far enough away from my eyes to where like if they're moving, you can't really clock it unless you're really looking for it. And then I try to like do things with my hands and shit. Like I try to move, I try to look away from the teleprompter and shit. I try to like do things to make it not obvious that I'm reading from a teleprompter.
Do a simple shoot with one tripod.
It's very curious, and I think he's done very well for himself with this show. He says he goes on to say that most of his work hours, so he doesn't define what he means by work hours, but he says, I assume he means that because he has a family and everything, and because this is his full-time job, that he has defined a part of the day, 9 to 5, I don't know, as working hours. But he says many of his work hours are spent wrestling with this nerd room, the technology contained within this nerd room, which doesn't make sense for somebody who has hired hands. They should be doing the delegation. The intelligent delegation would be for them to do the technology grunt work, for them to get the space set up in a way that's efficient for everybody, and for you to be free to write scripts, to edit. If you take a lot of pride in editing, you can get an editing assistant, of course, or you can have shows that aren't as important that, if you want to put out more content and have, a trusted editor do that. But no, those guys write and edit and do a lot of the creative, and he wrestles with the technology in this room, which we're gonna understand what all that even is. So he starts by talking about how he lost a storage raid. He keeps 80 terabytes of all past and present data from his entire career on one volume that spans, a RAID array of drives.
I think this is this aspect of James is kind of like a man after Frankie's own heart. Frankie, historically, from what I've known from listening to their podcasts, holds on to like every project file of everything that they've ever done ever. Me and Jason Graves, on the other hand, from what I've been made to understand, we just kind of delete the project files when we're done with the video to save on space. Because if you hold on to all that shit, we're talking like terabytes of information that you're holding on to. That just it is, and I will agree that my method, I guess Jason's method, if he still does that, is psychotic. And you're really trusting in YouTube, and I try to do like a mass like backup of I download all my videos off of YouTube, which is gonna be the various like scaling and compressing that goes on. But with my videos, I can't tell a fucking difference. Whatever, it's not like it was rendered in this weird format or capacity. It's like just normal 1080 24 FPS kind of frame rate. So I don't mind the quality of the videos, of my own videos that I rip off of YouTube for preservation's sake. But yeah, so James is in the Frankie camp of just backing up every single thing and probably more so than even Frankie, or I don't know. I don't know how extensive Frankie's backup goes with this stuff, but James, like, I think anything James has ever shot, he has it backed up somewhere, which is just that, like, especially when you start shooting in higher like definitions with better quality cameras, like I used to shoot with a Blackmagic 6K, and the size of those files would be just stupidly ginormous. There wasn't even like a I don't know, like you almost need like fiber optic cables to do the kind of transferring that speed that you need to like transfer this data from one thing to another when you start getting to these higher definitions and these better quality cameras, because it just takes all day, even with like USB type C or whatever the hell. And I don't know. I'm fine with just backing everything up from YouTube. I think the only project files I don't delete are my music videos, like my band's music videos, because it's like, yeah, fuck that. I spent way too much time and love and effort. But if my top 10 singers whose voices went to crap video gets lost to time, I don't know if I necessarily care so much about that.
80 terabytes, he said. He does that so that he can have a giant volume to, if he wants to reference an old clip or something like that, he can do easily. He can catalog it easily. That makes sense, sort of. Having one volume is high risk. Having it span multiple drives, obviously, in a RAID configuration means that you can survive if a drive or two fails. That's the idea there. But if the entire volume gets corrupted, which has happened to me, on Windows or on a Mac, you're done. You need backups, and you need to restore to backups. Well, he was saying that the single volume he put it all on wasn't mounting anymore, and he started restoring from backup, and it was so much data that it was taking months basically to restore everything, just to find out that actually there was no problem with the RAID array. He was running a long Thunderbolt cable from a neighboring room where he keep the storage out of earshot because it has loud fans, to his editing computer.
Thunderbolt, by the way, to my knowledge, Thunderbolt is an obsolete, for all intents and purposes, Thunderbolt is obsolete. Like USB Type C, I think that's already you had like FireWire back in the day. I don't know if anyone remembers that port, that cable, that means of transferring data. All that shit's just obsolete. Apple had Thunderbolt. I think my old Apple MacBook laptop from that I got in 2014, I think that might have some Thunderbolt ports on it that I never used. It is not the fastest way to transfer data by any means anymore. It's just so outdated.
Well, it was some 200-foot long Thunderbolt cable. I've never.
And the longer the cable, right? Like that affects the transfer rate, doesn't it? I mean, I'm thinking you have a guitar and then you have an amplifier and then you have a 50-foot long cable. You're gonna lose tone between the pickups of the guitar and the actual speaker cone. That long ass cable, you lose tone. You just do.
Seen one in in my lifetime. Is an expensive cable, and it failed. And he didn't troubleshoot that it failed. And so instead of, again, prioritizing the most likely failure, he spent months solving a problem that didn't need to be solved. While saying there's.
I don't even see why it would take months to solve that.
Or I don't know. He didn't say exactly, but he said, the data transfers and everything were taking days, and I'm sure he lost patience and discipline for staying with the issue. I'm sure he was wandering back to his kids and stuff a lot. He also revealed in that same stretch that he was using a 2014 Mac.
I think that was the year of my Mac, actually, too. Up
until recently. So I ask you, how important is video editing for your company?
Yeah.
My guess is it's pretty important, because you put out videos. So, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to keep up with an upgrade schedule if you want to stay efficient. Because, like, my wife has a computer from like what 2012. She doesn't do nearly as much crazy stuff that we do, but it's so slow. It's crazy slow. You have to just refresh your technology every once in a while, and you build that into your cost of your business.
Oh, I'm running into that with my music production computer. That fucking thing is on death's door. The CPU's from 2014, and it just, my digital audio workstation cannot keep up with what I'm trying to record on there, and it's a very big problem for the band portion of Dancing with Ghosts, the actual whole thing that this channel's named after. And we basically are like at a point now to where like I have to get a new computer for music production specifically, and it's very cost prohibitive right now. So expect a Dancing with Ghosts acoustic live stream coming to a town near you, computer near you at least.
Yeah, and because he failed to do that, he had to waste a tremendous amount of time. Like there's like a number of examples here where it's like if you had just stayed in front of your technology needs, and I don't mean like you don't need to be like a technology innovator. I mean like you need to make sure that like you're using a reasonably new computer, and you should probably be updating the, like it turned out that that RAID array was very old.
According to Frankie, another interesting bit of trivia, Justin later said in the Cinemassacre Truth Discord that he advised James not to make the behind the scenes video. I think it's easy to say that in hindsight. I mean, why didn't anybody advise Justin not to use like the N word with the hard R in his I hate the N word video, or all the other gamer word, yeah, or the Silvermania channel in general? You really should watch almost any video on there, especially ones with Bob McGran. You can't really go wrong as far as a bunch of inadvisable things that Justin did that he should not have done. I like how in like the past like 4 or 5 years, he's all of a sudden just snapped into this like corporate mentality of like, what does and doesn't look good for one's brand. But yet, a few years removed from that, he's like, literally like this dude's a little edgelord. I can't stress it enough. But yeah, he became a company man at some point. Hold on, guys. I gotta take a piss. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm known from my speed pisses. Oh! Oh! All right, here we go.
And he wasn't like transferring out the drives, or he's not coming up with a life cycle. He says one curious thing is he said that he always has had issues with Premiere crashing and continues to, but even on the new computer. That sounds like he's got storage issues.
Yeah, I don't have as much. Like, there's occasionally, Premiere will have a problem, but I don't because like I do the thing where it like auto saves and does backup auto saves while you are
Premiere is
working.
Premiere is a pretty stable application. It'll crash if it continuously loses connection to the storage you're working with.
Yeah, so
That sounds like what's going on.
there's something, yeah, something wrong there.
EJ in this video looks like he has like a harem of women that please him sexually, and he just always wears a robe constantly with like one of those like the Caesar thing around his head there. Rasputin. There you go. Sure, that joke's already been made.
Oh, and if it's a 2014 Mac, it probably can't easily play back a lot, like the newer codecs.
Probably.
So he's got his new computer now. He uses a teleprompter now. You and I use those DesView teleprompters.
Right.
You pop them onto the lens. They don't connect to anything. There's no curtain. There's no bullshit. You just pop them on the lens. You put your iPhone or your iPad in there and use an app to display your Google Doc or whatever, and it works beautifully. How long does it take to set up, EJ, the teleprompter?
Minutes, not even. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a couple of minutes the rest of the setup. Like I said, the total setup is like 20 minutes at most.
Well, for some reason, his teleprompter is cumbersome because, first of all, it looks like it's really massive, which is not necessary.
It looks old. Like I used to use something like that at the Boston Globe, like 6 years ago.
It's got some kind of curtain draped over most of the back of the camera, and
it connects. It's a monitor, so it connects to a computer.
Right. Yes, it's actually using a computer monitor, and it runs to his laptop.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. I don't. I mean, this is a little like probably a little too inside baseball for most people. I don't understand James's problem with using a teleprompter. I have like a Kindle Fire that I use for like the display that does the backwards text, and then I have the actual like glass that goes in front of the camera. It was like two separate purchases. The actual like glass reflector with the housing that goes around the camera, and then you have like you have to buy some kind of fucking tablets are like they're giving them away at this point. It's like the cheapest tech that you can get at this point. They're just throwing tablets at you when you sign up for a phone plan with AT&T. I installed that housing around my DSLR, and I have not touched it in months unless there's something that I might need my DSLR for. I just unscrew it, pops out, screw it back in. It's like, and then as far as the text scrolling, the app comes with like a remote that I have like out of frame. And if it's scrolling too fast, I can hit like they have a minus and a plus button. If it's scrolling too fast, I hit the minus button a few times. If it's scrolling too slow, I hit the plus button. It's so easy. Like, I don't understand how James had such a, because I think James used like a mouse or some shit. Like I don't understand how this guy like, I don't know. It blows my mind. How do you not know about these things? Like it's like if you don't know about it, then fucking learn about it. That's how I have done everything. Like I mean, even down to shit like my fucking washer broke the other day. I washed my clothes in. Not the other day. It was like a couple months ago. But like literally like looked up a video on YouTube, and like I've never done anything like I don't repair like. That seems like a dad job, like a job that my dad would just handle and would do for me. I looked up a video on YouTube on how to do it, and it looked fucking simple. And I was like, okay, I got to buy these parts, and then, off of Amazon, and then they come in, and then this is what I got to do. And unscrew a few screws, and then unhook this and change out the springs. And I fixed it. It was like $45 in parts. Like, how many people would have, like, hired someone to just fix it for them and would have paid, like, $300? And I don't know. Like, there's really no excuse for the ineptitude a lot of the problems that James runs into to this day, probably still. But I don't know, man. The guy's been putting shit out. Like 25 was a very busy year for Mr. Bames Balf. I don't know how much of it was like content that I really cared about. Probably very little of it, if any. But I mean, at least in 2024, he did You Know It's Bullshit, which is a series I still like. No, You Know It's Bullshit in 25, but you got a lot of stuff. A lot of low effort stuff. You have James in real time reading a graphic novel or whatever, the Castlevania book in real time. He's reading that. Like that's about the effort level that James is at now, I think. He's like, I will make an appearance on my own channel. I will show up. I will read the book, and that's all you're getting from me, baby. Deuces. I'm off to do, shit that I really give a fuck about, which is not this channel for a long time. I don't know. It's like when a band is like just done and they just don't care anymore and they're just going through the motions and they're like, oh, thank God that tour's over. Fuck. I dread the next time I have to fucking play those songs again in front of people, but it's the only way I can make money. So, I'm Tommy Two-Tone. I wrote 8675309. I'm dreading the months that I have to do that 80s fucking reunion cruise. But God, I need that $20,000 check, so I will play 8675309. Like, I will play it and I will hate every second of it, but there's some free shrimp at the bar and some free booze, and there might be some hottie 22-year-old servers that I can hit on with my bald head, my blazer that's rolled up to, the 80s, rolling up the blazer and the dark sunglasses. He still rocked that look. We opened for them with my old cover band like 15 years ago, and this motherfucker still rocking that 80s rolled up blazer look anyway.
Uses a wireless keyboard and mouse to control the scroll speed. Well, the modern ones, folks, I'm telling you, $80. It comes with a Bluetooth remote that in your pocket, it's just an up and down key. Yeah. And you can go back and it's very, very, very simple. Well, he was saying it's difficult to use the keyboard and mouse because he sometimes wants to gesture with his hands, but he can't, he's got a keyboard and mouse in his hands.
Yeah, I got the Kindle Fire HD on the Amazon sale, and I use that as my teleprompter.
That's what I use too.
$70,
Yep. That's what I use. That's literally the only thing I've ever used that motherfucker for, and I don't want to use it for anything else because it will probably get some kind of weird virus thing and stop working as well. I literally only use it for the teleprompter. It's the only thing it's not done a single other thing than that.
Yeah.
So if you get that, you get the teleprompter. So it's that, you'll probably be down maybe around 200, but you got a perfect wireless solution that you can control.
If you just look at me and EJ's like white shirt, just the white part, it looks like we're both like about to get baptized at some like Southern Baptist church right now. Like we're both waiting in line to get like dipped in the pool and dunked under or whatever. We kind of have that look right now. Or maybe that's a stretch. I don't know. It's just words that came out of my mouth just then. Oh well.
Oh, you sit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go about now.
I posted on the Cinemassacre Truth subreddit to be like, hey, just so everybody knows, like there's easier, like I don't get his teleprompter thing. And I got in arguments with a few, well, I didn't engage, but there was a few people who were like, well, why doesn't he just learn his lines? Who needs a teleprompter? And it's like, again, there's nothing unreasonable about, if you're monologuing and you're finding that most of your shoot is spent flubbing lines and then the performance isn't where you want it to be, and you want to get this stuff without.
I need to hear Frankie say the term copium on an actual a new Red Cow arcade. I didn't know Frankie was this hip to Zoomer nomenclature. I definitely need to hear Frankie say, he's pumped full of copium right now, or something in that vein. I that would greatly please me to hear Frankie use those words and actually hear them spoken in person.
Cuts.
Oh, we got the 6'7". Jesus, well, you have a kid, man. I don't even know what 6'7" means, but I'm aware that it's a thing that exists.
I think it's, if you can get it looking good, it's perfectly reasonable to have a teleprompter. Just you should have a reasonable teleprompter.
Yes, yeah. Especially because the Super Nintendo video I'm doing, there's a lot of long sections, and it was so much easier with the teleprompter. It would have taken like probably 3 more hours if I didn't have that teleprompter.
He bemoans internet connection problems in his house. That I guess he has shitty home internet, and the slobs ran a lot of cabling to resolve the issue. Again, it's not clear where the root of the problem is. Is it the ISP doesn't get good speeds, because then you can run all the cables you want, but if the uplink is bad, then the uplink's bad. But he says that they fixed it and it's awesome now. Again, I question why internet connectivity, everybody needs reliable internet, but I question why it would slow video production down all that much.
Yeah, unless he's uploading things for the slobs to work on, is my thought.
He says that, yeah, that's right. If they were all working off some kind of network SAN. Oh, and I should have mentioned that if you're going to work off of large storage like that, you shouldn't be using cabling. You shouldn't be connecting directly to the client anyway. If you can help it, you should. It should be connected over a 10 gig network, local computer, local devices to a 10 gig network, and then he could just do all that off of the internet or off of the local network. But again, he wouldn't need a fast connection to the world necessarily. He also bemoans a buzzing sound in his overhead mic. He doesn't want to fix it because he'd have to move stuff. That's what I heard. In addition to the buzzing, I suspect that the buzzing is because his mic is too close to all the electrical in the drop ceiling.
I have used a Rode mic.
Frankie, can you tell me something about this if you're still even on here? What is up with EJ being like? It sounds like you're switching from like a room mic to like some whatever condenser mic he's using or whatever. What was up with that? What was that? Because you hear it starts off with like a room or like onboard mic, and then it like switches to like condenser mic after like a few seconds. What's up with that? I'm just out of curiosity.
Like that in a boom mic setting, and it has buzzed intermittently. I'd probably just research a different microphone. Solution.
Right. But again, he'd have to move stuff. He doesn't like having it really felt like it was a man trapped inside of a very small room, and there's like only so many options for fixing significant.
Oh, it's because we were on Zoom and it was in speaker mode where it switches automatically to the person speaking, and it switches that person's microphone after a moment. Ah, so it was the way Zoom worked at the time.
Significant issues. Okay. So here comes the big one, or the big ones. Because it's such a small room, he wants to reduce how many tripods and kind of static objects are in the room, so he's not stepping over things or bumping into things. So far, this is not an unreasonable problem to want to solve. The solution is deeply unreasonable. So what does he need, right? What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about a camera with a tripod. So his first solution is there's like a countertop that I guess is the proper distance from the subject so that he can get the medium shot. He puts that on some kind of wooden makeshift bullshit that's going to be kind of his like tripod, I guess, which at that point, like a stack of books would do the trick, but whatever. So he puts it on the equivalent of a stack of books. So so now he doesn't need a tripod. Of course, it's only functional for that one shot, a medium shot of him sitting on a couch. What else are we talking about? We're talking about a micro.
Which if I'm not mistaken, that was a thing that Dan Olson, in some kind of weird spurgishness, made he made like a dozen of them at least in the I don't know James Rolfe video, that weird thing that James had to construct, which I believe for the video camera that he uses, that thing lies perfectly flat. It's got enough of a surface area that like the center of gravity is like, you can easily just lay it down on something and it'll just stay there. But James felt the need to just like screw it into this wooden thing. Also, I just took a picture of like my setup and, talking about like constantly having to move shit. And I'll just show you like, I mean, granted, I'm not, my shit's not like the nerd room. It's like one wall of this 4-walled room. Where's it at? Okay, let me guess. It doesn't like that image or format. Yeah. No, it doesn't, so I'd have to convert it. Okay. Probably never mind on that one. Hold on. I just wanted to show like my shit like off camera here that you can't see, and how I just like leave it how it is until I'm ready to record something, and I like never have to mess with it. Okay. All right, that's converted. Cool. So now I should be able to just pull it up here. Okay, there you go. All right, so this is the other side of the laptop here. Gotta shrink this fucker down. So yeah, this is like the other side of my room that you never see. So what we have in the middle is the teleprompter screen, and then right below it's like the little Amazon Fire thing. To the left, it's the umbrella light. To the right, it's just a soft box light. And yeah, it's like all this stuff just stays where it's at all the time, and it stays plugged in. I don't have to mount it to the ceiling. This is a very small room, as you could probably tell. On the other side, it's like literally me on the other side of the desk. So yeah, it's very simple. Granted, I'm not doing as much, getting up and walking around and all that stuff. So it's more like a podcast type situation, but like, I don't know, it just goes to show you how like that whole ceiling thing was kind of insane.
Phone. But we use lav mics. Again, we're not making the big bucks like him, but we use lav mics, and they work beautifully. They don't take up any room, and you can, if you're going to talk about efficiency in a shoot, you can go anywhere, you can move all around the space, and you continuously have solid audio.
Yeah, they're wireless lav mics. They're, I think, Sennheiser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just mic yourself up at the beginning of the shoot, and we do all the episodes, and then we unmic ourselves.
They are expensive. They are expensive. A pack is like $500.
They're
but
totally worth it though. Yep. I use.
They have like those new ones now that like Jason Graves uses. I actually like hit him up to be like, hey, because they have like the much simpler lav mics now that even like my hometown news thing uses now. They just like clip it on instead of like doing the whole like mic in your face, and they work great. Yeah,
them in
everyone uses those now.
All of my jobs, like every single job I had those mic packs.
Yeah,
they're totally worth it. It's you just get that and you use them, and they're great.
So that would free that up. Instead, what does he do? He I think he tolerates the microphone tripod, I think. And then finally, he wants to evenly light, again, this medium shot of him sitting on a couch. He's really concerned about the lighting in this shot. It's fine to be concerned with lighting. Seems like he's got his key, his fill. He's got like the 3-point lighting setup, which would normally be LED. He owns the same LEDs that I'm lighting myself with right now, I think. these battery powered ones, but he didn't like them on tripods sitting around the place. So I think zip tied them. Everybody's joking that he duct taped them. I think he zip tied them to the crossbars in the drop ceiling on the tripods. So the tripods are hanging upside down with the light upside down. And then that's his kind of makeshift ceiling lights. Now, again, ceiling lights do exist. There is such a thing.
Yeah.
In a studio.
Absolutely. In the studios, we had them with LED lights, mind you. We had them at the Boston Globe. They were ceiling lights that you installed in the ceiling. That's what you do. So you don't have a tripod zip tied to the fucking drop ceiling.
It's just not, the garage is not for this. Or you could reconstruct the garage to be for this. But you know what might be a better thing to do than tripods and LEDs dangling from the ceiling? You're not shooting on 35 millimeter film where the lighting has to be pretty precise. You could just install overhead lights, like a real room, and it will look probably pretty much fine. So my wife, right? She watches girls unbox like Amazon boxes of clothes, and they shoot those with those ring lights.
Yeah,
those like $100 ring lights. That works fine too.
You can get those.
I think that, like, the biggest pain in the ass of like the 3-point lighting system is the halo light. I used to use a halo light on some of my like much earlier videos, and it was one of those like halo lights where you'd have the tripod and you'd have like the light like above you, like there was like a little mini like soft box light, and then it would have like the weights, the counterweights on the other end. It'd have the little hook where you have the little bag with the counterweights, so the thing didn't lean down. And that thing was such a pain in the ass. I just gave up on. I have a 2-point lighting system. The halo light is no longer a thing. I gave up on that a long time ago.
That TJ Maxx, I can tell you that much.
I was showing my wife, and she was like, this behind the scenes thing, and she was like, "Is that his normal shot?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "The stuff I watch on YouTube is much better produced than this, and I'm pretty sure they're just using ring lights."
Yeah, ring lights and probably an iPhone.
So layers and layers of inefficiency and unnecessary tactics. And he puts wax paper to dim them further. I don't know how necessary that is. That might not be quite as dumb, but I mean, mine anyway. You can turn them up and down. You don't need wax paper.
No. Yeah, sure. I thought they looked a little messy. Yeah, like the wax paper or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and he complained about the glare.
Once again, the wax paper, that's what he's always done. That superstitious thing that I was talking about earlier. He's always used that. Whether it's wax paper or notebook paper or whatever, he's always used some like household object as a diffuser rather than like, say, like a box light or something like my umbrella light, or I know the umbrella takes up too much space probably, but like things that are actually like meant for what they're used for. And I don't know, I mean, like, I guess wax paper gets the job done, but like, yeah, it does look like, I don't know, it's like if you go into like an old recording studio and they have all these old like methods that technically worked for like, I don't know, muting things or absorbing sound in the 1970s, but there's like way more efficient ways to do it now, and the producer or engineer is just like, no, trust me, I have all this dialed in, this is exactly how it needs to be to sound right, don't touch a single fucking thing in this studio, we will get it done, we will get it recorded, we'll get it sounding good, but you must not touch any of this stuff because this is how I've always done it. And this is how it will continue to be done because I've made million-selling records out of this room. So you're not going to come in here and tell me how I need to start doing things when I've done way more stuff than you will ever do. So this is how we're doing it. I think there's a bit of that with James.
His glasses from the lights as well. Which again, overheads would help with this problem. And John was yelling at him because he was like, use a polarizing filter on your camera. On your camera's lens, so that it doesn't show the reflection.
It's a easy like thing you can get.
But no, he doesn't. acknowledge that. He's like, and then there's the glasses. Ugh, filmmaking's tough.
So I bought some ones without lenses.
But then I can't read the teleprompter that I insist on using.
So I can't use it for every shot.
He's like, doesn't it take so much time to make movies? Yeah, he says setting up to shoot a standard show takes too much time. So he built this controlled environment, but it's too static now that he's locked himself into all of this, like this horror show of the damned. So he resists changing angles unless it's really, quote, worth it.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Yes.
Because like I said, it takes 20 minutes to just move things, but he's duct taped everything to the ceiling.
So now he can't do a damn thing. So if he wants to shoot himself picking out a game over by the game shelf, I guess he has to tie wrap the tripods from the ceiling, which is like, oh no, I got them just the way I want them on the ceiling. I can't think of anything more antithetical to the creative process than like, oh, I've just completely reduced my options to nothing.
Yeah. And he gets, he's got sponsorship deals. He's got view counts. He can afford this. He can afford more solutions than this.
He mentions that the reason he has to have
I mean, even like just like with that like studio that they apparently have or whatever, like even if you made made a bunch of made the investment to do like a bunch of dummy boxes, make some kind of like a weird like a clone of the Nerd Room or something, where like one is locked in for just your close-up shots and the other one is more designed for you to like get up and move around or whatever. I mean, like even something like that, I don't know, that probably wouldn't work because his shit's like so specific. You'd have to have all these 3D printed like NES cartridges. That'd probably be way too much. Okay, that wasn't a solution. That was a spitball that even as I said it, I was like, no, that doesn't work. I would probably, just don't make it so complicated with like the lighting and they're all in fixed positions and all that. Do you think he overcame that like since this video came out? I wonder. I can't. Like when I recall any of the videos that I've seen that he's done since then, he's pretty much just been on the couch. Aside from like the really crazy ones they did, like where he like talked about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde again for the third or fourth time or whatever. Like he did his like quote unquote big episodes, but oh man, that was that one funny one with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now I almost brought it up. I don't know why I didn't. Like where his audio was muffled, like the lav mic was like in the shirt underneath something. It was like muffled, and then like Red Cow did the video where like they fixed that audio, and like Frankie's like it took me like 2 seconds to fix it, and I was like, yeah, it's like why wouldn't they have done that? Because it was like so muffled. All you have to do is bring up like the higher end frequencies to make it sound like it's not muffled under a shirt. Just I don't know, shit like that's like funny to me.
Regular output, like he makes an AVGN, it seems once every 2 weeks, is because he's got brand deals and contracts. He's got Raycon earbuds or whatever, being like, we need to see another show.
NordVPN, you mean?
It's clearly, it really does feel like a front, like it's a whole YouTube channel that's a front for Raycon earbuds or something, and ExpressVPN. Like there's the mob behind this thing.
Sorry,
don't you hate shitty games? Now buy these earbuds. He really wants the episodes to just be the game footage and the shot on the couch. And he says this as a creative that he'd like to have more shots because he's a filmmaker, but he has no time.
Of course. That
if it were his choice, of course he would have more shots, but it's not his choice.
The thing that really bugs me is it's almost like he talks about this as it's still a hobby.
Exactly.
And
what do we care, right? What do we care how he talks about it? Except for the fact that like we would really like it if our YouTube work that we pour our souls into was our full-time job. That would be pretty wonderful.
Yeah, if it was, we would be so much more efficient. And it's just like, this is the thing. You're the bread. I'm assuming he's the breadwinner of the family. This is what he should be doing for approximately 8 hours a day. it doesn't take this long.
Jesus, if I could work on a YouTube video 8 hours a day, like, my God, I would have 10x'd my subscribers by now. Like, if I could just really, like, get in there for, like, 8, oh my God, that would be insane if I had that amount of time to spend on making YouTube videos, like, 5 days a week or something like that. That'd be crazy.
It doesn't take that long to do whatever he showed. The fact that he showed us that is so, it didn't solve any of his problems.
He made a lot of really weird statements. Like he was like, well, most of my working hours are spent not actually.
I love this next Frankie line. Personal. It's personal stuff. What do you mean, like taking a shit? It's personal. What do you mean personal? I don't know. I thought it was really funny.
Making anything, but wrestling with these technical issues and personal stuff, and that's what it is. It's personal. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you like? Taking a shit? You mean? Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I'm wondering. It's like that's the only thing I can like. Personal. It's just personal, man. Don't ask me. It's personal. Like just like irritable bowel syndrome going on there. Got just like every 20 minutes the ulcerative colitis is acting up. Like, what do we got going on here?
Real personal stuff during my work hours, during my non-personal hours. It doesn't make sense.
Unclogging the Linkara blown up toilet, just getting those lines clean because he's as a favor to Doug. Linkara, I don't know, maybe lives over by where James. I don't know. That joke was called. That was a stretch. That was a stretch. I don't think it landed. I don't believe in that joke. I strike that from the record. Thank God this isn't live.
And yeah, it's just like the no time thing just really doesn't make any sense to me. Especially when you see our lives where we run a YouTube channel, have a full-time job, we have my kids.
Well, look, if you get rich off of something and you have your run, you've done your 15 years or whatever, and you got rich doing it, I think you get to be like, you know what? Like I said earlier, like Matt Groening or whatever, like you can hang it up. You're allowed to hang it up and be like, I've decided that I've made money in my life and I want to spend time with my kids now. Because he said at one point, he's like, I don't want to spend time away from my kids.
Here's Frankie being balanced. I don't know now. Now I don't know. Now I think everything he said up until this point is null and void because he's being balanced.
When making stupid epic videos for the internet, and it's like, well, but okay. But then what you're saying is like you kind of hate your job. And then he later is like, hey, no, but this is fun. I prefer this to some other job, I suppose. And he says, but it's my choice, he said, to spend time with my, to prioritize time with my kids. He's right. It is. He also said, well, if it was my choice, every episode would be some incredible cinematic thing. It's like, dude, is it your choice or isn't it? Clearly the choice you've made is to stop doing this. That's the choice you've made. And apparently neurotically like stammer around your garage. I don't really understand that part. That seems almost like mentally defective, but something that you could diagnose maybe. But
I mean, yeah, because especially he outsources so much of it too. Like how can you say you have no time?
It makes no sense. He says he used to take 18 hours to make some of these videos, and he certainly can't do that now. Again, I challenge why any of those. I've seen all of those videos. I don't understand why any would take 18 hours. They're all of Birdemic quality or Boxdemic quality. Again, I think.
I mean, unless like every single thing he does, like if it's one of those things where like I got this one way I know how to like make an inanimate objects move is just to do stop motion. Like if every single thing he ever did was just like stop motion, like the Rob episode, I don't know, I guess that one was the big one because that one had like what was another one like Super Mecha Death Christ with all the green screening and all that kind of shit. Like that one I can kind of understand taking 18 hours. I can't. I mean, if we're talking green screen trash, like I can't really see. I mean, if somebody really knows what they're doing there, I don't see that like taking that long. I mean, if it's like a physical shot by shot kind of stop motion or a lot of like Photoshop keyframing, or just like going into Photoshop and like turn it like turning every single like movement of something into its own keyframe and then keyframing every action of something, which I'm sure there's probably like an easier way to do perhaps, because I've seen all of his videos. Yeah, I don't know where that, and he keeps track of all this. Like this dude, if he ever gets like audited for his time, he has records. Like he keeps track of these things, so he's got how long all of it. And these are like documents that were never meant necessarily for like public eyes, but like I think it was either in the first making of or the second. I think it was the first making of back in like 2010. He like showed like how much time each video took or whatever, and he's like always trying to like beat his high score and get it done quicker or whatever. But yeah, I'm not quite sure where all that time goes into either.
He's just not
unless you're taking into account all those dumps, which are his personal time or whatever.
very good at this, despite having done it for so long. He obviously is really out of touch with technology and with modern techniques. He says it's self-evident. So you're saying like, I don't get the no time thing. Well, he says it's self-evident that he has no time because, hey, he's got kids. There's like a section of the video where he goes like, some people are baffled about why I have no time. Well, of course I don't have time. I have 2 children. Done.
Because no parent has a full-time job with children.
He talked a lot about COVID, that COVID made it really hard to film with an in-person crew, but he clearly did because they made a lot of videos during that time. But he also spent a lot of time showing himself trying to shoot himself for a video, but with no crew. He's like, I wish I had a crew, but like, so I don't quite, it might have been on the risk timeline of like when things were really high risk or they seem to be. Maybe
COVID was such a fucking weird time to like like out yourself as someone who like still did things with other people in person that like, you know, were outside of your household. Like I remember in the band sphere, it was like I'd be in these like indie these like indie Facebook groups that were like all across the US, these would be groups with like 30,000 members and shit, and it'd be like indie bands or bands that were unsigned or whatever, and we were on there, and like it was just like during the pandemic and even after the pandemic when like vaccines started to roll out and shit, like you were pretty much like shamed if you played a show or if you promoted a show or anything like that. Even with all the weird COVID, like 6 feet apart, like everyone has to sit down at these like tables that were partitioned 6 feet apart from one another, there'd always be some like overzealous social justice warrior that would be in the group that would be like, do you want people to die? You're playing a fucking show. Do you want people to die? And like you were like almost afraid to admit that like you were even after the vaccines came out and even after all like the COVID deaths started going down and shit, you were afraid to even admit that like you had like say like a house show at your house or anything like that, because like everyone would just like shame you like a motherfucker. And it was that was just like the refrain, do you want people to die? And sadly they were people who probably looked like me, colored hair, piercings and all that shit, and probably identified as they them for all I fucking know, but that was the most likely a scenario. They were the ones who were the loudest about it. But yeah, there was a lot of do you want people to die refrains going on during that was a horrible. So like to even admit that you had people that you were working with when that was going on, it was just like you were irresponsible and contributing to the problem. Yeah, it was It was such a shit time. God damn, it sucked.
Then it wasn't clear to me like how COVID factored in really. And he evoked COVID several times where he's like, you got to respect how COVID treated everybody differently.
I think it was an excuse to shame the critics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's all it was.
It sure seemed that way. Oh yeah. He mentioned, this is another good example of like, I don't know about you, but at my workplace, it's a common theme when people say, because everybody says they're too busy for everything. That's like a really, like, it's not hard to find somebody who says they're too busy for shit. But there's people who are too busy to find ways to be less busy, like to increase their efficiency. And he says, it's beautiful. It's like, it's almost, again, this is a very compelling video, really. He says offhand, he goes, oh yeah, and I heard that there's like this remote operation mobile app for my camera, the GH5, which you and I shoot on. You know, I'll have to take a look at that. But you know, it's so hard to keep track of all these things I got to look into. Well, I know you use the mobile app. I've shot a lot of stuff by myself now, like here in my basement. There's no way I could do it without them. Like, there's no way I could autofocus, that I could get into the proper position. Like the mobile app is downright necessary for not having a crew. But here he is being like, oh, it's so impossible to not have a crew.
And it's so easy. It's so easy to download the app and connect it to, like, it's made for morons. And you can do it. You can do it in 5 minutes.
Well, in the last 3 minutes of this video, which is where he gets pissed.
Oh, the asshole-ish variety.
He says, I don't have time, like I said, like I've established. So what do you do when you don't have time? You get help. So I've outsourced to Screamwave to get help. And if you hate on them, it's unfair to them. That's arguable. You know, I don't know if these guys deserve everybody's, you know, like constant mockery or something. And he goes, and it's unfair to him. Well, I don't see how it's unfair to him. I don't get that part. That it's like, you made a decision, you made a business decision, and if it didn't pan out, then it didn't pan out. Like, you know, there's not like, hey, it's unfair to me. Like he was kind of talking to everybody like he was a dad.
Yeah.
He also said that, you know, look, if I had to do it all by myself, then you'd only get like 3 videos a year. Well, that's kind of what people are asking for. They're like, slow it down, make it on your own schedule, do what you want to do. Yeah,
it's like JonTron, really, you know, like JonTron makes much less content, but you can tell.
God, I like JonTron less and less as the years go by. I don't know. I don't really remember the last thing that JonTron, like the last video that JonTron made that I was like, no, that's a good video right there. Maybe the Flex Tape one, because that was like visually entertaining. That was like years ago, but it's got like 1 billion views. Like, I don't understand what the fuck. I feel like there's got to be some kind of thing going on with that. There's just no way the algorithms are that generous to where you can go like 6 to 8 months without making a new video, and then you put out a video and it's like instantly 3 million views. I don't know. I don't see how that's possible. Then again, I could just be jealous.
Every single one he wanted to make, you know.
Yeah, totally. Like the passion is there, and so he continues to be really successful. But then he goes, "Oh, and don't give me that. It's just that Screamwave sucks. Since the beginning of my career, anytime I partner with anybody, I get shit for it." Well, again, that ignores the degrees of shit. For Screamwave, he gets a pretty high degree of shit, and it also, it's like, oh, so then my conclusion is, well, I might as well have all of these uncharismatic guys who have not been established on this channel whatsoever show up and do most of the creative work. Like, I might as well just like, yeah, I because I've received criticism about past partnerships, I'll just do the most absurd thing that's really ill-advised.
And I don't think that's even true.
No, not to any significant extent.
He's like, I got criticism for Screw Attack. Really? I don't think so.
So then finally he says he has fun making this stuff and doesn't want to quit. Because he needs it as a job. He just wants to make lazier videos. That's what he essentially says. He's like, I want it to be more generic and just this medium shot, please, because I got the lights on the ceiling. and I really want to make it to episode 200. And that's kind of it.
This video was just such a treasure trove of memes. For the Cinemassacre Truth subreddit.
You know what's crazy, you guys? I don't really give a flying fuck what Red Cow's politics are. I just know that I enjoy their content. Wow, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's true. I'm going to say it right now. I don't give a fuck what Red Cow's politics are. The whole lot of them. I don't care what their politics are. Do I enjoy watching their videos? Yes. Do I enjoy watching all their videos? No. Some of them I don't care about what they have to say about the Avengers Diamond Gem movie video thing, the Star Wars Galactica, whatever the hell. Some of them I don't care about, so I don't watch those. But there's more often than not, I do enjoy watching them. I don't really necessarily care like who they voted for or anything like that. I don't know. I just call that a sane individual. And I'm sure that Frankie doesn't give a fuck about me in general. No, but probably not my politics either.
it's oh yeah,
it's gonna be mined for maybe years.
Yeah, like I said last time, I think this is the next evolution of the channel itself. It's become kind of like a crowdsourced creative community, like a Creative Commons, where it's just making fun of how beyond the pale these excuses are. You made a funny point. You were like, at this point, I think that these Screenwave guys, some of them are questionable, but I think the head guy, Justin, is kind of, I think he knows what's up. I think he knows that some of these memes are pretty accurate. I think he knows that. I think
there was some prophesizing there, because I think we know definitively now that Justin, obviously now we know Justin absolutely is on the Cinemassacre Truth, and not only is on the Cinemassacre Truth, he's on anywhere that'll mention him. I mean, he's been like any video that I've done that, like, I think he's just like subscribed to me now, and he gets like notifications whenever I release a new video, because he commented on the State of Cinemassacre 25 video I made. And he never commented on those in the past. It was only when I made a video on him specifically in his channel that he started engaging like with stuff like that. He's probably like watching this and not commenting, but for all I fucking know.
Matei, who I saw some comment to his where he was like, oh yeah, I've tried to help James with some of that tech stuff, and he knows he can call me if he really needs help. Like, James is not receptive of the help, and I can see that very clearly in the video, that James is like, it's like he insists on it being difficult. And we all know people in our lives like that. Like, they seem to insist on like, no, I don't want a good solution to this problem. I kind of like living in the problem perpetually. Again, it's more like personality disordered than anything.
Yeah, well, the way he talks, it's like he talks like this whole production is sitting on a nice edge, and like every step.
Yeah, totally. But you had said, you were like, I think that these Screenwave guys, they're almost like self-aware caretakers.
I love this line. I love this line because I think it's 100% true.
Like to like an old person.
Yeah,
doesn't know
like
what's going on.
Somebody who's like a son who's taking care of like a dementia-ridden father, and you're just draining them for resources.
Dude, literally.
Kind of like the sketches in Half in the Bag on Red Letter Media, where they're like the VCR repairmen to his Plinkett.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yes,
exactly what's going on.
That is exactly what's going on.
So I think at the end of the day, 3 things are plaguing our friend James. His ineffectiveness or inefficiency, right? I think that kills that tips the scale of time. That he doesn't have a good team, because I think that between you and me and John and Zach and Matt, like, there's a pretty good, Nina. So that's a very rich team. Like, there's a lot of reliable people with different strengths and weaknesses in the mix there. It's a solid, and if you don't have a good team, like, I think he's been trying to build a good team for a long time, and because he's not necessarily a natural leader, I think that he struggles with that.
Yeah, and I think he even pushes people away, like,
clearly
the talent that would be there.
Yeah. And then finally, I don't think he cares. I think he did for a very, very long time, and I don't think he cares now. I think he grew out of it. It's what happens when you grow out of the thing you love. Like,
this is pretty much what Frankie's saying at the end here pretty much wraps up anything I've repeated this ad nauseum, like in any of my State of Cinemassacre videos I do at the end of every year on my channel. It's pretty much what Frankie's saying right now.
Notice that you grew out of it? Do you always feel like a weird kind of emotional obligation to the thing that you used to do, and so you don't really like reconcile that with yourself, where you're like, maybe I don't really want to do this anymore? But I think it's obvious that he just doesn't care, certainly as much as other things in his life now.
Yeah, I think it's obvious.
So not good at it, doesn't care about it, and doesn't have anyone who can reasonably help.
Cinemasker truth.
That means you're done. That means like you can't. How much longer can you go on like that?
Yeah, it's just gonna be a death sentence, I would assume. I think it's gonna be, he's gonna ride off the corpse of his success for a while, but eventually it's gonna rot.
Still doing it to this day.
I don't know why he thinks fans want those big episodes so much. There's nothing necessarily to indicate that. They complain that it's always just that one shot, but that's not them saying, "Hey, move the camera." Like, some of them think that that's what they're saying, but I think what they're really saying is, it's obvious that you don't like, that you're trying to crank these out without putting effort into them.
Yes. It's like when you see a movie and you start nitpicking it, you're nitpicking it because
there's something
something's wrong. Yeah. You're bored by the movie. And
what I want to know is, Frankie, how late did I make you stay up past your bedtime for you to watch me watching you?
You're paying attention to stuff that you probably shouldn't be paying attention to.
Yep. Yeah, and the pain of bad planning costs him more than anything, really. Like, he could do much better with that. And there was a certain egotism to it too, which, that whole like, would you want 3 videos? That's
what I thought. I'd do the same thing.
Videos a year. There's a certain like, hey, I know you're all clamoring for anything I make, so just like accept this. Take the slop.
You want me to get to 200?
Yeah,
almost there.
So there's an out of touchness on a number of levels here. It's fascinating because the guy was held in really high esteem for such a long time, and it's almost frightening. It's almost like it comes for us all.
That was a great line.
Yes. That is frightening.
So since this will undoubtedly be a clip that some Cinemassacre truthers will
a mighty clip of clips
listen to,
an hour plus clip. I don't think it's a clip of that. That's a feature length movie at this point.
If you like our commentary, we have a channel called Red Cow Entertainment. You're on the Clips channel right now, but go over to Red Cow Entertainment and subscribe for.
I don't know. I think that little clip channel you're talking about. I think there's going to be some gas behind that. Who would have known? But I think there's something behind that one. I think that one might be getting a lot of engagement here soon in the year of 2021.
Really funny mac and cheese reviews that we do, and a number of other related web series. We follow around our friend John, who is a bargain shopper and a very unique personality. And the people who subscribe to us can't get enough of us. So check it out. We've probably tried 400 Macs at this point. The core mission of the show.
Okay, now we gotta highlight the box Mac, the bread and butter here. Bread and butter. That's a carb. Gotta highlight the box Mac thing. Still don't know if it's my favorite thing they've done, but they've been into. But I've consumed a lot of Red Cow Entertainment stuff too. It's good binge material, I guess. If you want something like a TLC style thing, but without all the stupid fake pumped in drama. Just like, I don't know. If you just like watching people that aren't you that are doing something that's filmed well.
Has been to find the best macaroni and cheese ever. You now hold one of 1,000 batches of pumpkin spice KD.
What if I took that Big Mac compound butter and injected it into a turkey? It doesn't taste like McDonald's, but it tastes really good.
It's a picture of a bowl of macaroni and cheese mosaiced out. Just a heads up, we tried the Flaming Hot Cheeto Mac and it was disgusting. We were excited to see what Jen thinks.
Old Country Buffet. We go in at breakfast a half hour before and then stay into the lunchtime.
When was the last time you were in a Chuck E. Cheese?
They have arcades and they have fun toys that you can win.
I've been assembling a collection of computers from 1982 to 1992, and today we're going to see if I can print out a banner using an Apple IIe, the same as I did when I was 12 years old.
Do you get a little sentimental about, like, this is probably the last time I'll ever be in this mall?
kind of used to saying goodbye to malls.
What are they doing?
I think they're all dead.
Goodbye. Good day.
All right, well, that was the Red Cow thing. I got to take a piss. Frankie has to go to bed. Everyone probably say goodbye to him unless he sticks around. It's up to him, obviously. When we come back, we'll do our encore because I got to stretch this thing out to leave as much room for grifting as possible via the Super Chats. And we'll watch the 22-minute actual James Rolfe thing that they just talked about. And you'll go in with all the context of all the things they just talked about. And I know you guys can't get enough Bimmy. Can't get enough pissing, so I'm gonna go do that. Thank you, Frankie, for staying up way past your bedtime. And when you're tired tomorrow, I'll know it's because of me. That's sick, but it's true. Oh my God. Gay. All right, I'm back. Yes, I am more pissed than man. It's true. Lassen uns noch eine Schotze nehmen. Who's taking shots? Who's drinking? It's shot time, everybody. All right, Frankie, love you. Thank you for hanging out. Go to bed. Have fun. Doing whatever is the fuck you do. In your personal time. Taking shits, probably. I don't know. All right. So I know we just watched the Red Cow thing. But now we're going to watch the AVGN thing. And I promise you, there's enough differences going on here, but you'll probably clock a lot of the stuff that they commented on. Now, in a perfect world, how they would have edited that nowadays is they just would have put in the clips of James saying everything that they were commenting on. They didn't do that back then. So when you watch this, you'll just kind of have to keep in your mind, you know, and you know, you'll clock everything that they were pointing out in his video, but now you get a visual of what they're actually talking about.
Hey everyone.
So this was the hour 19 whatever it was video that we just watched. This is the actual video that they were commenting on. So for those of you who haven't seen it, or if you want to see it again, this is what's happening now.
I'm so glad you're still watching AVGN after 15 years. I'm so glad to have people with a good sense of humor to appreciate this stuff, and I hope to keep the entertainment coming. Hey, guess what? I just realized I recorded this entire video and realized this mic is not plugged in. The shotgun mic is plugged in. So, hey, at least you can still hear me, right?
The audio sounded just fine. Again, I don't know why he had to point that out. Like, and secondly, why are you that would be like me recording myself with this mic, and then I had like a shotgun mic above me. That, like, why do I need, or do I need to be recorded in like traditional stereo where like I'm panning this one hard left and I'm panning the shotgun hard right, so you get this rich tapestry of my voice all up in your ears? Are we doing some weird like 3D like thing there? I don't know why he records him, why he's recording with 2 mics like that. Anyway,
back to the video. It's been a long time since I've done any kind of behind the scenes thing.
his audio literally sounds perfect. I don't know why he had to point that out in the beginning. That's so fucking weird.
The last time I did a room tour was in 2016, I think. Not a whole lot has changed since, but I want to share with you a few of my technical updates, the basic setup of a nerd episode. I'll talk about some of the projects that you don't see, the ones that are all about maintenance, and I'll even address a few complaints of the asshole-ish variety, which does not represent the majority of you. But yeah, that'll be fun. Also, check.
I would say that my complaints of the asshole-ish variety regarding my channel involves like half my audience. Not like, so you said it doesn't include the majority of you. I would say mine includes about half. About half.
Back in real soon for the Cinemassacre podcast. It gives me the chance to talk a lot more and answer some fan questions. So, nerd episodes come in all shapes and forms. Some are basic and simple, while others are epic and crazy, like the recent Vegas episode. That was the biggest passion project of the year so far, and took several months to make. But no matter what kind of episode it is, it always starts with the gameplay. I have a new HDMI switcher. Now, of course, most of these old game consoles do not have HDMI, so I have this analog to digital adapter here. Also for NES, I've mostly been using the AVS console, which is basically an NES with an HDMI output. I also use the Super NT, which has HDMI too. Yes, this all loses a little bit of the nostalgic factor, but I still have the old consoles. Also, I still have the Nintoaster, and even had a fan add an HDMI output. Thank you very much. For playing the games, I use EverDrives whenever possible, which means I can load almost any game on it without having to find it on my shelf and clean it out. I still have the physical games and show them in the videos. But
so this is the part where like Red Cow was talking about, like, why not just use emulators? Save a lot of time and trouble. And this is where I retorted saying that, like, I think these legacy YouTubers, there's like a superstition about like I always just need to do things this way because this is how I've always done it and it's gotten me this far, so like why would I change the formula type deal. So I think this is like James's thinking behind that.
When I record these days, I often use the EverDrives only for a matter of convenience and image quality. Now, I've had all kinds of problems with game capture and have tried many different devices and many different methods over the years. In the past, I've used a DVD recorder. I recorded straight onto a PC laptop, which Mike helped me out with. But lots of times, I would play a game for hours and then realize nothing recorded. Or the video was fine, but the sound was glitchy. Or the video stuttered or froze completely. So, Screenwave hooked me up. They got me a new PC, and it's working awesome. It even has colored lights and shit. Strangely, this desk is from the 80s. I've had it since I was a kid. And back then, they didn't consider that computer wires would ever have to go under here. So the entire bottom is boxed in. So for the first time ever, I had to drill a hole in it, which was surprisingly difficult. This was some really tough 80s wood.
Really tough 80s wood. There you go. There's the quote. If you have a fucking drill and like some kind of a Dremel tool or something like that, it's really just a matter of sweet done. Like I don't really understand why that was. I mean, yeah, I don't see a world in which that would be a difficult task.
I'm much more familiar with Mac, so I don't really use the PC for anything except game capture. Now, still, I do have problems with the connections. Sometimes I'll switch on a console and it just doesn't show up. So
Elgato kind of let me down. So actually, funny enough, when I was doing my AVGN, the 10 game, like I did the 10 games that I wanted to play that he reviewed or whatever, and I tried to do like the old school method of like doing video capture from every single like system, like the way he would have done. I had to use an Elgato for like Xbox 360 and like the the newer generation, like when they all switched to HDMI. And yeah, the Elgato definitely crapped out on me as well. And I kind of just blame Elgato for that. Maybe I have an older model or something, but like, yeah, I definitely. Oh yeah, I can see he's using and that's OBS. That is absolutely OBS that he's using there for. I guess maybe that's what he uses to record Elgato. I don't know.
I have to unplug wires, plug them in again, switch inputs back and forth until it refreshes. So lots of my work hours in general is spent fixing things that go wrong. And these are just a few examples off the top of my head. Earlier this year, I had a hard drive issue. For the past few years, I've used a server with 24 hard drives in it that stores all my past videos and project files. That's in case I ever need to go back and grab a clip from something or whatever. I'm obsessive about organizing. I have a folder for...
Do you think James keeps his porn on one of those? Do you think one of those drivers in there is just dedicated to his porn that April doesn't know about? Do you think he names it something like something that she would never watch, like James's home movie video things 2003? You know April's never going to access that file. That's probably where he keeps all his porn. If I was April, or if I'm me giving advice to April, I would say check any of it, like Snicks Flicks, under one of those folders. Just a folder she would never, ever, ever think to look. See, that's one thing. If you're like a porn enthusiast, but you also are like make a lot of really like crappy videos that only you and your friends who participated would want to watch, that's a good front to keep porn in. Because if you're just a normal dude, you're not going to have a whole lot of folders all over the place. But if you're James, you're going to have like so many folders, and you've done so much like stuff that no one would want to see unless you're you. I think that would be a great place to house your Ladyboy videos in my personal opinion.
For finished videos and a folder for project files, raw footage, graphics, everything else. Inside these folders are AVGN, BJ, which is Board James, Monster Madness, and everything else. All
right, I'm just going to tell you. If you click on BJ, meaning Board James, and there's another file or another folder called BJ, that's the first place you look for James's porn stash.
Folder within folder within folder. It's all stored on one big volume, so I don't have to switch out and unplug different hard drives to find shit. Well, earlier this year, the server stopped working. It just wouldn't stay mounted. So for the next few weeks, I was using my back.
He literally said mounted, not mounted, mounted. It wouldn't stay mounted. He says funny things sometimes. I like to point them out.
Backup drives and copying everything onto bigger drives. I could never fully explain how time-consuming and mentally exhausting this was. I had to draw plans of where I was going to copy everything to. You can see here how long it was taking to copy lots of this stuff. I probably have like 80 terabytes of crap when you add it all up. I'm not even sure, to be honest.
80 terabytes? Oh my God. This is exactly why I don't do this. That's nightmarish.
When just one folder says it's going to take 7 days, you know you're in for a long haul. To make things more complicated, earlier this year, around the same time, I got a new Mac. My current Mac was from 2014, and in the world of computers and video editing, that's pretty old. So I was having lots of problems with Adobe Premiere. I still do, which is what I use to edit. I don't use Final Cut anymore because Apple hasn't updated that since since the iPhone probably. There's Final Cut X, but that's like a totally different thing.
Final Cut X is what I've been using, and they update it quite frequently, so I don't know what he's going on about with that.
So anyway, I got a new Mac, new version of Premiere, everything's all updated, but it was like a month of installing programs, reorganizing my data, and after all was said and done, my old server suddenly works again. It turned out it was just a bad Thunderbolt wire, an 18-foot wire that cost $215. It's that long because the server's loud and I like putting it in a different room than I edit in. But hey, now all my stuff is super backed up. But still, there's a problem. The old server doesn't work with the new Mac, so Screenwave set me up with a whole new server. So yes, that meant copying everything again, but at least it was all onto one big volume and easier to organize than if it were on a bunch of separate drives. So it's been great, but the server is so loud, I had to spend a few days putting up insulation, drywall, and foam to muffle the noise.
That's some autism level shit, dude. Your little raid server that you made is like so like prohibitively loud to you that you're just like, I can't make another AVGN with the fan sound. I need to build whole drywall and foam and insulation just to muffle like what? That sound? Like fans just going? Like, do you just fucking despise the sound of your like HVAC? Your like fucking heating and air conditioning unit? Do you like hate the fact that anytime it turns on, it's like with the air conditioning or heating or whatever? Like, I don't know, man. It's like I feel like normal people just kind of like ignore like consistent. I mean, unless it's like a knife stabbing tinnitus like in your ear constantly. I don't know. I feel like most sounds are pretty easy to just like throw into the background and like focus on like whatever you're doing currently. I think the human brain can only focus on so many things, and I don't know. I mean, James has autism. It's clear, but I would think putting up drywall and foam insulation and all that just so you don't hear just to not hear that's a disturbing level of the tism that I would think would be something you might want to get looked into.
And even though we're almost there solving my data issues, we're still working on it. There's still some outstanding issues. I know I'm rambling a lot here. I don't know how interesting this is, but I figured, hey, why not just tell you some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Screenwave also helped me with my internet because my internet was real shitty. Imagine trying to do what I do with the internet going down all the time. So it was a big project. They ran Ethernet cables all through my house and everything, and it's working awesome now, but there's still some tricky areas that were.
Internet. We all have it. Most of us have a router. The router then pumps out its Wi-Fi in the short range of say the space of a house. I'm on Ethernet or Wi-Fi right now on this laptop doing this live stream. My computer in the other room is hardwired to Ethernet. But I upload videos in here. I do everything I need to do internet-wise in here. Always off of Wi-Fi. Never been a problem. What kind of lead shield like bunker are you living in to where the Wi-Fi or the internet is so bad that everything needs to be hardwired Ethernet everywhere, to where you have these like veins of Ethernet cables running all through your house of all various lengths to all various devices? Like, literally, are you in a like a safe room or like some underground bunker that is set up for like a nuclear blast or something, to where you would need these kind of reinforcements to get any kind of internet connection? Because 95% of any houses that you live in, you have ideally one router that's hardwired to Ethernet, and it just projects the Wi-Fi signal throughout the whole house, and my entire house runs off my Wi-Fi, and it's just fine. I don't understand these kind of problems that he's having here.
Working on. So that's another project that is in the works. Now, let's get back into the nerd room and talk about my camera setup. So, I got sick of having tripod legs in the way of my consoles, so I like having the camera on this makeshift small tripod I made. Basically, it's just a tripod head screwed onto a piece of wood, because otherwise the floor is a cluttered mess of tripod legs.
Yes, but instead of doing all that and dismantling a tripod head, wouldn't you just stack up a bunch of books or something and put the actual camera on top of the books and just get rid of the tripod head? Why does the tripod head even need to be involved in this scenario unless you're using a teleprompter, which he does. He goes in and out of saying he does and then doesn't use. Yeah, he's got like a leveler screwed in there and everything.
There's the camera tripod, the microphone stand, the light stand.
Oh! 50 Canadian for Cerebral B. Fuck that Luddite bullshit. Long live Josh Kent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cerebral P. I do appreciate that so very much. You are my everything. Singing you a song because you gave me so much fucking money.
And I'm stepping over shit all the time, so eliminating tripods makes my day efficient. I still use a tripod whenever I have to, but for the main setup, like this, I got it down to a science. So what's all this crap? Well, this is the teleprompter. I use it for the longer speeches, especially for the movie reviews. That way I can look directly at the camera while reading the script for the entire duration of the video. I still mess up and flub some lines, but it cuts down on trying to remember and rehearse. When I'm speaking on camera the whole time, I have the flexibility of being able to select which parts I want to show myself or cut to other images. Typically, when I don't have any images to show for what I'm talking about, I'll just show myself. Generic. For the nerd videos, I usually read the voiceover or narration right off the script, but the on-camera parts, I use the teleprompter for the long speeches, and otherwise I just rehearse or even ad-lib sometimes. Here's how it works. I play the script off the laptop. I adjust the speed of the text scroll with a mouse and keyboard. But it's a little tricky because I also like to show my hand.
Stupid technology. Like, I don't know. There's no interest for a breakdown of the DWG room for a DWG making of, but if there were, you'd see how much easier it is than what he does.
Hands for expression. You know, the laptop is connected to an external monitor with the screen reversed because it reflects onto a mirror, which is a one-way
So unnecessary, all of it. Just so much unnecessariness going on there. It's crazy.
glass. So the camera lens is actually seeing through the script, which is kind of weird when you think about it. So this way I can read while looking directly at the camera. Once the teleprompter's set up, it's not something you want to take apart again because it's time consuming.
I mean, yeah, if you do
First
it that
I have to unscrew and change the tripod mount on the bottom of the camera. Then I have to plug in the monitor, adjust the angle of the mirror, focus the lens, etc. Let's talk about the microphone. Whenever I'm doing
Cerebral Pre, this shit reminds me of Patrick Bateman going through his skincare routine. Fucking for real, though. My God.
just plain voiceover, I use this mic right here. I record into a Tascam recorder because there's no...
Dude, you want to see my recorder that I use to record audio in? Look at that. Look at that. First of all, just pay mind to how big. That's a rack mount, meaning that it's meant to be like screwed into like an actual rack of like studio quality. Like, you want to see what this is what I record my shit into. Okay, it's 2-channel. It's all you need. It's like the size of a cell phone. I've used it years and years and years, and it works perfectly. There's no need for anything like that. No fucking need, unless you're recording like, I guess if you were doing the podcast, you had like 4 microphones or something. But even then, that is so stupid big. Like, literally, like you put the XLRs into here. It's got phantom power. You're good to go. It's even got onboard microphones, which these kind of suck. I wouldn't use them. But this thing's like a million years old, and it's never failed me once. And just like rest on the floor by my desk. So much easier.
No point of shooting video when you're only using the audio. Whenever I'm on screen for a movie review or something like this, I'll just plug the mic directly into the camera. But if it's a nerd video, I use a shotgun mic that's dangling from the ceiling. I like to have it up there because, once again, I don't like having a stand in the way. I've had some problems with this mic. Every now and then I get a weird buzzing sound that we have to remove when editing using filters. And I've tried different mics and we haven't quite got to the bottom of it. Screenwave and I have been working to resolve it. It tends to happen when the mic gets a little loose, which is why I avoid touching it whenever possible. Once it's up there, it usually stays up there. The wires run all across the ceiling and into the camera. So that's a lot of stuff I prefer not to move. Now let's talk about the lights. What is this? Some kind of anti-gravity experiment? It's a pretty funny way to get the tripod off the floor, but it does the trick. The lights are LED. They don't get hot, which is nice. They can dim and change color temperature too. But even at their dimmest settings, they're a little too bright, which is why I put wax paper over them. I have several lights all over the side of the room.
First off, you don't do the wax paper because of the brightness. You do the wax paper because it's a diffuser. Because if you have just LED lights, or the lights that I have, which are incandescent, it's just throwing hard light onto your face and it's making unflattering shadows and all that shit. Like, think of like if you take a picture of the sun right on you in a cloudless sky, it's going to be the shadows are going to be very harsh because it's a hard light. It's a direct light coming right at you. However, if you throw, like, if you're like on an overcast day, like if the sky, there's a lot of clouds in the sky, or the sky is gray or whatever, they act as natural diffusers, and the light is a lot more, it just disperses over your face in a more flattering way. I think I already had so this is like my room. You see, I have the umbrella. That's one technique of diffusing the light. Then to the right, you have a softbox, which has another diffuser over it. You add the diffusers because it's more flattering light on your face. It's not to lessen the brightness, because it doesn't. I mean, wax paper, I guess, would, because it's a lot thicker, but that's not. You're not using it to bring like the brightness down. You're using it to diffuse just the strength of the direct light going right at your face. It just looks better. I mean, it just looks, it's a softer light. The shadows are softer. It's just more flattering to your face. That's why you use diffusers, not to lessen the brightness.
Because I want to get the most even lighting possible. I can't bring them too close because you get reflection in my glasses. I found spacing them apart works better. Also, little trick, I have a pair of glasses with no lenses in them. That helps with the glare, but that only works when I don't have to read. Also, my camera, lights, and everything are plugged into 2 power strips. So when I come into the room and go to work, all I gotta do is flick 1, 2, and everything comes on. I'm set to go. The purpose of all this is to shoot episodes as quickly as possible. Now, sometimes that can't be done. For example, the Vegas episode was a lot of extra work, and there's always going to be something like that. But for a base,
well, I'm just glad I haven't seen that episode yet, because he keeps bringing it up, and it's like, I just care so little about your big episodes at this point, because they're just, I don't know, they're just masturbatory at this point.
Sick episode, this simple setup greatly improves my workflow. Otherwise, I would have to set up the camera, frame the shot, set the focus, set up the lights, set up the microphone, and check and adjust everything. By having it all set up beforehand, it saves me a lot of time. Now, the only little problem is that I'm locked into this position. Whenever I need a different angle of the room, let's say if the nerd is over at the NES shelf or something, that means everything has to move. the microphone. I have to take this wire down, and then the lights. You can imagine how much of a pain these are. The camera has to go on a tripod, so that means the teleprompter needs to be disassembled. The wire that plugs into the power has to come out. Then I usually have to switch to battery, and then, oh shit, I forgot to charge it. Anywhere I want to look, there's so much crap to move out of the way, and that's all very time consuming. And that's nothing unusual. It's very common on a movie set that most of the time is spent setting up shots, and very little of the time is spent actually filming. But when I'm short on time and trying to be as quick, as convenient, and efficient as possible, I just stick to the couch shot. I'll set up a different angle when there's a good reason and if it's worth the price of time. I even bring in a second camera for some of the B-roll and close-up shots, but if the nerd is in the shot and has to be lit and mic'd, everything has to move. In a perfect world, I could take as long as possible, but lately we've been doing 2 episodes a month with contracted brand deals and deadlines, not to mention all the
I like how he just admitted that.
other videos I'm working on. So when I'm behind schedule and in a rush, I have to stick to this single one-shot setup, or else the video won't get finished in time. Some people have felt the need to point out whenever there's a basic episode that's lacking the multiple camera angles. As if I'm not aware, I'm a guy who makes movies. I like different camera angles. If I had the choice, every episode would be as dynamic and cinematic as possible. In recent years, we've had some pretty interesting camera angles, like the underwater shot in Echo the Dolphin and the one
Yay, money for Josh.
continuous take in The Immortal. It can't be overlooked that we just put out the Vegas episode not too long ago. That was a monster and a miracle we pulled it off in a pandemic. It must have been over 100 hours. I just remember spending so much time writing the script and sneaking in every Hunter S. Thompson quote possible. And then it was tons of green screen, filming myself and Tony separate. And then I sent a rough edit to Screenwave, and they just did the rest of the post-production and effects. Shout out to Yoshi Vu. That episode was a giant project and put us behind schedule. The point is, I'm always going to want to do a big episode like that, and that's why we need these basic ones to get caught up again. Remember the Crazy Castle episode? That was epic. What came next? Super Pitfall. You need to balance it out. So you'll definitely see another crazy one when we get there again. Since the beginning, every episode is a product of circumstance. In 2006, there was a bunch of real basic episodes that we might be forgetting about, like McKids, Wally Bear, and Double Dragon 3. Those ones were so basic, they would hardly even be accepted as full episodes by the current standards.
I'd say the only difference is you were actually funny back then and like real, and now you're like not because brand deals.
Set.
That's why they were accepted and your new ones are not.
Worth a reminder that I'm not only doing AVGN, I'm doing Monster Madness and tons of other videos. And a small fraction of my work hours are actually spent making videos. More of it is maintenance, business stuff, personal errands, anything random that comes up that you'd never see or know about. And sometimes personal is, well, it's what it is. It's personal. In the old days, I'm talking way back, I would sometimes have to spend up to 18 hours a day to get some of these bigger episodes done. That is no longer possible for me. As a natural fact of life, I have less time now than I did when I was in my 20s making these videos. Some people have asked me, why are you so busy? Most of the people who I've heard from are very nice and they mean well. But there's some who are just mystified or just can't fathom, like, why don't you have time anymore?
Take a wild guess.
Take a wild guess. What's the biggest thing that's different now? I have kids. I don't think I need to explain that. For anyone who doesn't understand what a big responsibility and time commitment that is.
Are kids a big responsibility and time commitment? Really? I've never heard that from anybody before. I thought kids didn't take up much time and didn't really require a whole lot of responsibility on your part as a parent. That's interesting. All right. Well, I guess that's I forgot about that part of this video. Well, I guess that is true. I guess maybe that's true about kids. I guess they are a big commitment and responsibility. Now that you mention it, interesting.
Then ask someone who is a parent, and they will tell you all about it. The kids are awesome, by the way. They're doing really great. Big thanks to my wife for helping keep this whole thing going. You want to talk about behind the scenes commitment? That's what that is. I must stress, I do not want to burn myself out working on these epic kind of videos all around the clock. I want to be there for the kids. That's my choice to balance my work and family life. Then COVID came along and made it harder to film with an in-person crew. If anyone wants to know why it's harder to film alone, here's one example from the Shrek episode. I had to tie myself in a chair with an onion in my mouth. That would be a really...
I feel like this clip was propaganda somehow or another.
funny thing to walk in on, wouldn't it? I'm going to try to tie myself all in one shot.
Like, why is he narrating this? Like, about like what he's doing right now? Was this going to be a documentary at some point, or is this some kind of like, I don't know. Don't you guys feel bad for me? Don't you see how Screenwave is necessary, you guys? Like, you see how hard this is by myself?
With the camera running and burning all this film, man. Oh, that reminds me, that's another thing I have to do is find a remote control for the GH5. I heard there's an app or something, so I need to look into that. But every day it's this long list of just things to look into or things to resolve. But that damn onion would not stay in my mouth. And anytime it would fall, well, I had to untie myself and start all over. Jesus Christ. Fuck. There goes the onion. Fucking shit.
That's the first like real acting. Well, not even acting. That's just harness that, man. Just whatever that anger is there, harness that and put it into your AVGN episode. You'll be doing just fine. It won't be fake for once.
Have to start over. Boy, I wish I had a crew. Wish we didn't have COVID and all this fucking bullshit.
Wish you'd never done Rex Viper.
God,
they suck. Oh, what a shitload of fuck.
Fucking thing rolls. Balls. I'm trying to keep this laptop out of the frame. Since then, we've all been vaccinated and can be in person again finally. But we're now in catch-up mode, not just with videos, but with personal life. Most people, I think, get that, but some don't and underestimate the toll that COVID had. Everyone was affected differently. You have to respect that. Some people had more time, some people had less time. Some people might have been the same. Some people might have been out in the world more. Others might have been locked down at home. Some people haven't seen their families till now. All different situations for different people. So to the people who don't get that, it's worth reminding, we just survived through a pandemic. So if there's any time to cut us a little slack, it would be now. So when you have a project to do, but you don't have enough time, what do? You get help. While most of the fans watching are really awesome and already get it, there's some people who are trying to be counterproductive to the whole thing by saying they don't like Screenwave or they don't like them being involved in the videos or whatever it is. Do these people not want me to have any help?
No.
Do they want me to suffer and do everything myself?
Yes.
They probably just haven't logically thought it through. Screenwave helps me make the videos. Without them, if I was doing it all by myself, you'd probably see only 3 videos a year. Would you want that? And it wouldn't matter if I worked with somebody different. Over the years, people have given me shit for working with Screw Attack, game trailers. It doesn't matter. I think there seems to be a misconception that I don't do anything. I have no involvement and they do all the work. That is not true. I am working on AVGN and a ton of different videos. They help me. They collaborate on the scripts, but I still write too and have the final word on everything. I'm still the performer. I oversee the editing.
You know what would have been interesting is if you actually showed like an example of like, say one of the newer episodes, where like he hired someone to, or just got someone to like be like a camera that follows him around, like doing these like on set, maybe going into the editing bay and like giving the final word, and what exactly does that look like for him? Like, I mean, even if it was performative, even if it wasn't even like real, even if he had just like bullshitted something out, I think it would have like satiated people a little bit more than just him saying these words, because it's like a little amorphous and ambiguous at this point. Like, well, what does that mean that you have the final word? Like, what, like, is that like they do everything and you're just like, yes, release it? Or does that actually mean, oh no, like we need to go back and recut this? And like, it would have been nice to have seen like the specifics of what you're talking about, rather than just like you saying, oh yeah, no, I have the final word and I still do stuff. I don't know. I know I'm commenting on a almost 5-year-old video right now, so it's kind of a stupid point in general, but I don't know. The Bimmy fascination remains.
I request changes. I'm still there. The kind of help they offer is unique because they're on the inside circle with me and have an up-close understanding of how everything works with my type of production. So hating on them for the work they do is not fair to them, and it's not fair to me. The other comment that I get every now and then is that I should quit AVGN. Sometimes it's from fans who mean well. They can tell I'm getting burned out or whatever. But hey, look, this is fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. And most importantly, this is my day job. This is how I pay my bills and support my kids. You want me to quit? I'd rather be doing this job than something boring. I'm lucky. And I know that most of the people who say that are nice and kind, and they just mean, hey, you don't have to keep doing this. You're allowed to quit if you want. And I appreciate that. But what I'd also like to hear is, hey, you're allowed to do a basic episode or do them less often rather than going to the most extreme to quit. Maybe someday the time will come, but not now. And if and whenever it does, I'll let you know. And hey, don't you want me to make it to episode 200?
Not particularly.
I'm almost there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rambling behind the scenes talk. It's probably the only one of these you're going to get this year, so I figured I might as well just give you the whole dump. And for more stuff, I have a whole book written, which I hope comes out this year or maybe next year. We'll see. But the book is coming. Anyway, I got to get back to making videos now. It's tough to make a video about not having much time when you don't have much time. And for a guy who plays an angry character, I have nothing but peace and love to send to you. So, peace sign, fist bump, elbow bump, shoulder bump, whatever the cool kids are doing these days.
Jesus Christ, what an... All right, so I've been told some of you guys need aftercare after my live streams. Like, it's not cool for me to just quit on you after I'm done doing what I'm doing, but I'm done doing what I'm doing. We talked to Frankie. We watched the Red Cow video on the making of. Then we watched the making of, and I'm spooning you now. I'm telling you that Daddy's about to leave, and I appreciate everyone for hanging out. And this is me trying to give you some aftercare after the severe fucking that I've just given you. So if you want to sit here and watch Daddy smoke a cigarette while you become more comfortable in my embrace, it's fine. Because I was just ending things immediately after before, and I was told that it's not great. So this is the aftercare portion. Give people a chance to say bye. Give people a chance to wipe the tears from their eyes. Should probably have like an end song, I would think. Oh, wait a second. I do have one. I've got just the song. Yeah, I'm on TikTok all day, just looking at them girls twerking in those booty shorts. Oh God, yeah, it's hot. I got one thing I want to say to all them
them girls. I wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole, your butthole. Yeah. Pajama shorts are my favorite. Makes me wanna see your stink hole. Girl, I love the way you shake it. Makes me wanna rub my beanpole. Girl, don't be shy now. Just sit on my face. Don't give me no coochie. Just give me that bass. I wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole, your butthole. Yeah. Now I'm at your pool party. There are so many swimsuits. Look at all these bodies, all these healthy poop shoots. Look at all these starfish swimming round my face. If your hole gets too close to me, I'ma give it a taste. I wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole, your butthole. Yeah. I'm a dirty old man, I'm a dirty old man. I'm a dirty old man, I'm a dirty old man. I'm in love with your can, let me smell my hand and make you understand. Your anus is enticing, your cornhole is inviting, your fart box is delighting me, and it's making me stiff. I wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butt. Wanna see your butthole, your butthole, your butthole. Yeah. Let me give it a whiff. Let me give it a whiff. Your turd slicer make my life a lot nicer. I know life is a riddle. Show me that purple skittle. Let me get a whiff. Let me get a lick. I wanna see your butthole,